Hey, welcome to YouTube. Show us your mom's nips and her pubes. What it do?
Oh, man.
What can you imagine having to show someone your mom's fucking pubes, dude? I mean, if you weren't like us and you liked your mom, you just had to be like, all right, guys, I guess I lost the bet. Here they are.
Collect him off the toilet seat.
Or, dude, you had to just pull your mom's
I
fucking...
can't believe I'm doing this shit.
Pull your mom's pants down in front of your friends. I told you it was a big, tough bush.
What are you doing? Look at your mom's bush.
We're going to go outside and fucking street pump to your mom's bush.
Just jack off in the street. Street pump.
Street pump is the coolest fucking thing. Man, we'll probably say it 5,000 times from here out, but we were lifting weights today, and the dude that, like, is the weightlifting coach, he's 70 years old and he's cool as fuck. Man, he's 70. He looks like he's like 50.
Yeah, he does.
He's like in great shape. But anyway, we did this ridiculous curl thing today called buddy curls, where you like take the, what do you call that bar? The curved S bar?
Yeah.
A fucking bar. Who cares? You know, you take the bar and you curl and you do 10, and then buddy does 10, and then I do 9 and he does 9, and we go all the way to 1, and then you do the most that you can. So you just destroy your fucking biceps. You're all the way done. And we get done working out, and he comes over and he's like, how those arms feeling, boys? And buddy goes, I'm pretty tired. And he goes, yeah, you got a street pump.
Fuck, we about to play some street ball?
Man, street pump is fucking cool, dude. If anyone just got a puppy, name that motherfucker street pump. I mean, if you get a new pet, oh man, I should share that shit. You should share that shit, dude. You got
Sure to what?
to everything. You know what I mean? Put it in that group page.
I can't do it to our Facebook page.
Why the fuck not?
It doesn't work that way.
What do you mean?
'Cause you're the
no,
dude
not
that
to
made
the Facebook page, but to the group, dude.
I'm going to, brother.
Fuck that page. Facebook fan pages are fucking cock, dog, dick shit. What a stupid fucking idea. Oh, yeah. I mean, do you think that Facebook thought of that shit in the first place? They knew that they were going to monetize it to start with, and then slowly ramped up to it? Because I know at the beginning it was on some MySpace shit where you could just, like, actually build a base of a page without paying any money or signing up for any goofy shit or following any. It's the algorithms that piss me off. They should make him explain that shit. They should make Zuckerberg explain exactly how everything works on the congressional floor. Like, you know how you can get out of this shit, Zuckerberg? Tell us how to run Facebook the right way, you dumb fuck. Social media, man. I hate that shit.
But
Oh, I hate that shit. You know, it's just necessary. Why's it got to be like that? If you guys like our show, just give us your phone number and give me all your friends' phone numbers, and I'll just fucking call people. I'm sick of social media, dude. We just did phone calls. Like, instead of making a post on Facebook, like every joke I wanted to fucking put on Facebook, I just called everybody with it. I just sat down and fucking called all 5,000 people on my Facebook and just told them the fucking joke. You like it or not? Here's the haha react, dude. They give you the sad. Oh, that's my new shit, man. I'm fucking doing Facebook jokes on phone calls. I'm just calling motherfuckers and giving it to them. Hey. What did I fucking post today? Something dumb about fucking dogs, I'm sure.
did you really?
Man, I always do. That's what I do.
You dog fuck?
I mean, I couldn't fucking dog. I was, but a great point that I think I made on social media the other day is that you could easily have sex with a dog. Easily. You know what I mean? Like, if you grabbed your dog and you started rubbing his genitals, it's going to be into it. Mark doesn't want to agree, but it's going to be with it. It's going to be with it. It knows it feels good. It knows you feel good. I mean, I think that dogs are just continuously horny, because my youngest boxer, like, so he'll come over and you pet him, and you know, like dogs react to being pet. They, like, you hit a certain spot, their fucking foot goes up and down, right, like they're getting their fucking bean flicked. Or, you know, you, like, pet them and they, like, can't control their back legs and they just, like, squat over. But, dude, that motherfucker, if you get him going real good, like, or, like, let's say I'm sitting on my couch and, like, my feet are crossed and my foot's out. Dude, he'll come and, like, intentionally try to run his dick across your foot. He does that shit. So if you, like, have your leg out, he'll just walk back and forth. And Jackie was watching her niece, who's 2 or 3. It might be 3. Dude, she's sitting on the floor, right? and she's fucking having a great time. Like I hear her laughing, and I'm walking down the hall, and I walk into the living room. And what's she laughing at? She's sitting on the floor, and the fucking dog is running his dick back and forth across her head. Like he's just going like
across her head.
Yeah, because she's sitting in the floor. That's like his dick level, and he just like she thinks it's funny because the dog is like messing around, but he's like walking past her and then backpedaling and then walking past her and backpedaling, just rubbing it all over. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, what am I walking into? So you can fuck a dog. I think dogs would willingly get fucked, but a cat, you can't fuck a cat. There's no way. You can't make a cat do anything a cat doesn't want to do. Number one, because they will just fucking become that furious movement of claws and teeth and fucking. You can't.
Remember whenever I was doing like some volunteer shit for the Humane Society, and I was like, man,
I really don't remember that.
I did it for like.
Why the fuck would you do that?
I don't know, because I like dogs, man. So
you don't like them like that.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Man, I'll save them boys.
You've been trying to get rid of your dog.
Nah, I'm fucking around about that. Listen.
No, you weren't.
Anyways, there's a more to the story.
He tried to give a guy his fucking dog like a week ago.
That ain't true, man.
And he's retarded.
Fucking around.
He tried to give a retard your dog, dude.
Come on, man.
You fucking did.
You think I'm gonna let a retard take care of a dog?
You were going to.
Yeah, here's some applesauce. Come on, man.
You were fucking doing it. I was watching it happen. If he would have said yes, you would have given him that dog.
Nah, I wouldn't have.
Yes, you would have.
Slap your knee some more.
Yes, you would have. I like that it's fleshy.
But anyways, I was telling everybody about it, and I was like, man, I've been going to these dog pounds. They're fucked up. And then I said, I was like, man, you want to see a fucked up dog pound? And y'all were like, man, yeah. And it was in the group message between the boys.
Yeah.
And so I sent a fucking picture of a dick slapping a fucking balls against a dog ass. I was like, here's a dog pound.
Man, the most fucked up animal fucking meme is that one where it's like a Labrador Retriever, and that dude's it's like laying on, it's loving it, dude. It's loving every minute of it.
Oh yeah.
And that guy's fucking it. It's like laying on its back, and it says, "If you need me, I'll be in my lab." Hey, you haven't seen that? That's ridiculous,
what
dude.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man, that's the internet, baby. Internet.com. That's what it's all about. Is fucking weird shit. That's the whole premise. That's the entire universe.
God.
Having sex with things you're not supposed to. That's what the internet do.
Oh, we're getting into that tonight.
Oh my God, are we?
Might as well just
Yeah, I mean, if you are the one person watching our live feed, or you come back to it later and you start from the top, of course, we just YouTube us recording the live podcast. You know, motherfuckers don't like to have a podcast on YouTube. YouTube Red is like $13 fucking a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the only way to like listen to a podcast and put your phone down. You go on to do some other shit, it keeps playing. That's fine. But then you can't see the accoutrement that Mark's prepared back here. You know, the green screen. Anyway, man, we could just record the podcast. We're doing a song. We're doing Ozzy and Lita Ford. It's a ripper.
Yeah.
You know?
Not exactly the exact same words, but here we go.
Yeah, we're DMD in it. You remember, you come in first.
I know.
Right on, baby. And actually, hang on. So, like, the only thing you've been doing weird, so it's, baby, I get so scared inside, I don't really understand. Is it blood that's inside, or am I made of meat? Cool?
Yeah.
Perfect. Heaven is in the hollow of your ass. All right, I'm ready. I shouldn't have an exposed knee like this. I just slapped the woo, yow. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Baby, I get so scared inside, I do not understand. Is it blood that's inside, or am I made of meat?
Heaven is in the hole of your ass, and are you waiting here to chew? What am I supposed to do when your ass is made of meat? If we eat your thighs together, will you
you make me strong, Renee. Yeah.
If we eat your thighs together, can I be less weak and gay? Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to hold on to my cream. When I think about your meat, I gas into my jeans.
Need a dagger to stick me hard, my fucking taint. And when you're done, please make sure to give my tits a taste.
If we eat your thighs together, will you make me strong, Renee? If we eat your thighs together, can I be less weak and gay?
Will you give or take me?
Come suck my bing and ding.
Will you ever bust skeet?
No, I think I'm actually gay. Oh. Man. That was a complicated one, buddy.
Oh, I took the headphones off.
Yeah, man. It, because when you kill the track like that, you gotta fucking pop them off, dude. You come in so hard and then just pow. Fucking ass. Oh, man. That's fun. Yeah. What do you think, Mark? The worst?
Bro, it's the worst in a good way.
All right, good.
All right,
That's what
good.
we're going for.
That's all we need.
Yeah, those, I mean, I know they're supposed to be harmonies.
So you say we did it good then? We did justice.
You done good.
We scored. Lubricants is what you need, especially when you're spreading seed.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of this.
Daddy, won't you suck my dick? Oh wait, I'm a trans. I'm on a bus for a fucking load inside your praying hands.
If I fuck Christ forever, does that still make him gay? Yeah, man, we both have got really bad voices. And then when you try to put them on top of each other into a fucking harmonious part, it's all over.
People are
dude.
just going to hit the power button on their shit. They're going to fuck
Fuck!
that.
My ears and ass.
Oh, yeah, man. That'll make you lose a vowel.
Well, I shit myself thanks to your stupid intro.
Forget it. Your career's over.
No, man. People know what to expect with us, and it ain't quality. We're just ripping whiskey if you're watching right now. We're chugging fucking liquor. Getting loose because we got a long old podcast to do.
Take me. Me and you and Dad.
Oh, street pub.
Oh, damn it. The street pub.
How long is this one going to be? Do you want me to do it? Is it over 2 hours?
Nah, dude. I don't know how long it is, though. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like a child of loose, old, elderly ass.
Yeah, Canadian whiskey really does have an old person patois.
Yeah.
It's opening up the flavors of old in there for sure.
Is 40 Creek Canadian?
Yeah, dude, of course it is.
That's good.
Canadian whiskey, Canadian. It says it twice. Canadian whiskey, Canadian.
Yeah, we got some Canadian mist too. It's actually similar.
Yeah, get that a little fucking It's like if you took the 40 Creek and then filtered it through trash, basically.
Yeah.
But this one's got a way worse bite than that one. That one's smooth as fucking jazz.
That's what I'm saying.
Man, what the hell's
Smooth
going
as
on?
jazz.
There's no burn.
Yeah,
that
man.
boy's smooth.
Well, the thing is, man,
It's like there's a bad flavor in there. There's one thing in there that's got like definitely not a good taste. There's like a chocolate thing there, but that one burns. That one doesn't fucking burn at all.
No, man. That's because this one has, it's 80 proof, but it's also 100% street pump.
Yeah. All that street pump in there really fucking mellow it out, man.
Yeah, man.
All the fucking tannins get pumped right out in the streets, dude. Oh, fucking street pump.
God damn, that is good shit. Baby.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm fucking ready whenever, man. Is it Issei? How do you think you say that? Issei. Issei Sagawa. Issei Sagawa. Isa-san. Sagawa-san. Or I gotta think about the fucking Pride lady announcing him.
I think it's Issa, isn't it?
Sagawa! Issei! Into the dead of
It ain't
night.
gonna be that one, because this is just straight Japanese, brother.
Where we chug some Sprite. Oh, fuck some weird-ass guys.
Ciao, ciao. You're gonna learn the lesson, brother.
Yeah, that's just Japanese.
It's gonna be like,
that is pure Japanese. No English. Yeah, there's no English in that, man.
Not a one.
Ow!
Come on, man. Shit sucks.
I'm burping, bro. I'm burping. I got a street pump inside of me, dude. You know what I mean? Dude, we're coming up quick on it. When people look up Issei, it's like Issei. Issei? Issei Sagawa. Uto Isa Sagawa. I take an Iso Sagawa. Iso Sagawa. You know what I'm saying? That's Iso Sagawa.
You got it, dude. That's how you pronounce it.
Iso Sagawa. Eu Iso Sagawa. Tue Iso Sagawa.
That's how you do it, dude.
Issei Sagawa. Whoa, God. Don't let me hear
I can't hear
that. Yeah.
Want to hear a woman? Tune it out.
She's saying it wrong. Issei Sagawa. Oh, Issei Sagawa.
And when you played the male, it sounded like he was saying an actual name.
Who want the final sake? You come to get the final sake. With a warm sake, get the California roll and the warm sake.
When we get done, Antifa is going to be right outside of Mark's house.
Man, I'm going hard on the Jaying it up tonight because there's just parts where you got to talk like a Japanese person. That's sometimes. Sometimes you go to see the way thing you go.
You should only pronounce it like the girl from Pride.
Isa! She does the last thing first. Sagawa! Isa! Yeah, what a screaming cunt. I fucking hate that creamy bitch, dude.
Yeah.
She's so loud. Crow cop! Shut the fuck. Where's Bruce Buffer at? You fucking squealing pig. Mirko Crow, man, he got his fucking ass kicked in the UFC so many times, dude. I loved him so much, man, and he just got the shit kicked out of him. He let me down, dude. You got Crow Cop.
Oh, yeah.
Man, dude, he was fucking smashing everybody.
Remember,
we
were about to beat that family up for...
Yeah, the whole one, dude. The entire family, man. Mom, dad.
Son. Well, we already beat son up all the time.
Dude, all the time. He had such a bad attitude, man. We just had to fucking pound his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fucking dad, they were like Armenian or some shit. Like a real, one of those cultures that they're just like...
No, they're Mexican,
wait.
dude. They were Mexican, man. I mean...
Well, anyway, dude, it was like...
Good try.
they both, like the dad and the son both had shit-ass attitudes. But the dad and the son also both thought that the son was super good at shit. Like they had moved from somewhere else, and he trained for like probably like 6 months,
Yeah.
But they thought that he was some fucking MMA star. And man, they were both just such fucking assholes.
Remember, he tried to Superman punch me, and I countered it with a Superman punch. That's so fucking funny,
dude,
man. And
but-
I don't know how to Superman punch.
And it was like, but he was like, He was 18, right? Like
Yeah,
barely
yeah,
18, but still living with his dad. And his dad would come and watch training and just be like, "Oh no, you guys got."
He would coach him over the
yeah,
coach.
like coach him and tell us what to do and like yell at his kid. But they just had bad attitude, so
Yeah.
we would just fuck that kid up, man. I mean, kick the shit out of him continuously.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
never
It was like I never turned the heat up until he got in there, and it was
because
just like,
he would go hard.
Yeah.
That's what it always is. You could do, you fucking spar, and it's like you're trying to get better and like do techniques and be relaxed and not fucking get
I'd
knocked
just
out.
whoop his fucking ass.
Yeah,
is
but
what I'd
after
do.
like 2 or 3 times of that, it's just every time the fucking bell rung.
I make him quit before the round was over. 30 seconds of the round, he was quitting.
He quit training like altogether. Like a couple months of that, but yeah, we went to like a UFC watch. Like we watched UFC at the gym one night, and it was like when Crocop made his fucking debut in the
With
UFC.
Gabriel Gonzaga.
I got fucking head kicked by Gonzaga, but we were like calmly stating that Crocop's the fucking man. He's gonna kick his fucking ass. You're gonna see some shit you've never seen before. And they were like, we're like aficionados, and they're like dumb fucking Americans that don't know shit about pride. They're like, yeah, well, I've seen him not do shit. And, Krokop was doing pretty good, and then kapow.
Yeah, he got kicked in the head.
And
dude.
they were like, see, like yelling at us, and we were just like, you know what? We're going to fucking fight your whole family.
Gabriel Gonzaga had one of the most boring fights I ever saw in the UFC.
Dude, he's a good grappler and
Yeah,
shit.
he's a badass jiu-jitsu
mean,
dude.
You remember the
Yeah.
fight with him and a guy named, I think his name was Kevin Jordan. His nickname was the Shaman.
The Shaman. What a terrible fucking UFC.
When you did that noise, it sounded like I was in the Protector for a second. Goddamn protecting some elephants, man.
It was worse than the Caleb Starnes Nate Corey fight.
Oh, that's a horrible
That
fight,
was
man.
bad.
What the fuck was that all about?
Nate
They're
Corey.
just like-
You remember when Nate Corey started doing this?
Man, that shit sucked. Yeah, like, why don't you just fight him, you fucking dork?
Mm.
Yeah, that fight sucked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit-ass fights. Well, anyway, we're boring the one person watching.
Bow.
You posted in the group, right?
Yeah.
Is that a hold on? The Shaman. What a dumb fucking... Yeah, of course. I know, and you know what? I knew what he looked like before he even pulled him up. I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't
so-
remember that fight, though, at all.
The worst fight ever.
But yeah, I mean, they both are slow, whack. Gonzaga, whack. Is that Kevin Sniff in the right corner, dude?
Yep. Did he fight him?
He may have, dude. Man, Kevin
Oh,
Sniff
yeah,
had
that's
a...
right. It ended in knockout, and it was still one of the worst fights ever.
Who knocked who out?
Gabriel Gonzaga.
Yeah.
In the third round, like.
Oh,
very,
yeah,
very
just
end,
like... They're like holding, like...
both of them arms down. Gabriel Gonzaga just.
I'm tired.
God.
Yeah, he's a big fucking gorilla, man. He won Abu Dhabi before.
Grappling.
Yeah, he's like a world champion.
He's a
jiu-jitsu,
really
too.
good.
Yeah, he's
grappler,
good, man. Jiu-jitsu, but MMA.
Hairy as hell, man.
It's not that. Yeah, he is a hairy fuck. It's not that he's bad at MMA. It's just like man. A lot of the problem that I always had with UFC is that there was a gap in skill level when they were really hitting the upper echelon, especially at heavyweight, and even still at heavyweight. I mean, if you look at Stipe Miocic versus like the number 20 heavyweight. Like, the number 20 heavyweight could not fight Stipe.
Stipe is the first person to defend the heavyweight belt and win, and like defend it, like win it, then defend it and win in like
Since Cain Velasquez.
something like that.
Yeah, Kane defended it. But I think Stipe's defended it more than anybody else ever has.
The heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard thing to hold on to. And plus, dude, it's always like... I mean, heavyweight is hard, and also it's always a flash in the pan, motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's never... I like Randy Couture won it one time at heavyweight, but then he was like really a light heavyweight. It was like a comeback fight, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't cut weight, and so he fought for the fucking title. But yeah, like Tim Sylvia. That's just...
Tim Sylvia and Andre Arlovsky, remember they went back and forth.
My God, dude. I loved watching both of those dorks get fucking crushed. Dude, that was Fedor's twilight. Like, he was losing that fight. But, and that was another one where we love Fedor. I still love Fedor. I got heavy Fedor nostalgia. But when he was fighting Arlovsky and it was like an American promotion and people were like, look at, he's done. I told you he's not that good because he was like losing to Arlovsky, and then fucking pow. That's one of the best knockouts. Of all time,
he fucking
because he's in the air, dude.
He's in the air.
And then like the Fedor punch, like he hit him with the Fedor.
It looks like somebody shoots Casper the Friendly Ghost and just drops into a fucking sheet, man.
He dies, man. He fucking kills him. And Arlovsky's still fighting, and he's been knocked out so many times since then, man. He's got to stop.
Yeah, he was sponsored by the Condom Depot.
Dude, everyone was back in the day, man.
Fedor Crow Cop fight in Pride.
That's what a fight looks. Yeah, that's fighting, dude. That is a cool fucking fight, because like. And it's all kickboxing, basically, and Crow Cop is a way better kickboxer than Fedor, but the thing is, man, just such a bad motherfucker. That was those Bushido ones. They would have the 10-minute round and then a 5-minute round. Yeah, those are cool. That's a cool format.
Yeah.
And it's just the least amount of rules is the way to go, man. Like, the more... It's like an actual fight, the better it is. I think.
It's like, man, everybody was all fucking juiced up, except for Fedor.
Yeah.
And he just go in there and just fucking
dude, Fedor was sauced up, man.
Was he? You think so?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't here's the thing, man, is he didn't lift weights.
Yeah.
He did all calisthenics. He did kettlebells, but he did like body weight shit. So he's soft. I don't think he had a good diet per se, but I mean, dude, he
just worked hard.
Saucing, man. I mean, he worked hard, but he was saucing it, dude. Come on. Alexander, yeah, but he's not a good fighter.
No, he's not. But I love.
But yeah, he was he would go.
He looked like he was drunk in the ring.
He was drunk in the ring. Have you not seen the video of him drinking and then going out and fighting? And Fedor too. Fedor would take a fucking shot of vodka before he went fight. They're Russian though. You can't get. They can't even get drunk. I don't think those.
A video where they were getting hit. They were beating each other with the hot leaves and whatnot.
Yeah. That looks like it feels good though, dude. That feels fucking.
Alexander is like a legit fucking Russian mafia dude.
Yeah.
A legit rapist.
Yeah. He's got hepatitis too, man. He raped someone and got a hepatitis from it. Yeah, he's fucking whack.
Payback.
Somebody sent me a picture of him. I think it was Jerry not that long ago, and he's like in solid shape right now. But who gives a fuck?
I think he's not fighting again.
He's not a good fighter. I don't think he can fight, dude. He's got hepatitis, brother.
No, I think he had hepatitis A, which goes away.
I think he had hepatitis. I think he had Hep C, man. I think he currently has Hep C, dude.
Sweet. I mean, that's cool if he does.
Yeah, we do that haircut, dude. That second picture, that's a fucking cool haircut.
I fucking looks like you, man.
Yeah, no, I do remember. I rocked this haircut. I rocked the fucking short mullet for a while, man. It's a good look, dude.
There he is.
Yeah, dude. Look at that fucking dick piece. Why? Like he's got. Yeah, man, he's got cool tattoos, like real fucking cool. It's just goofy Russian shit, man. He's got cool tattoos. He's covered in prison tattoos. Yay!
Yeah!
But he's got that fucking tribal on his cod.
Those are the Russian tattoos right there.
He's got more, dude. Look at his back.
His back
is like the Grim Reaper Mary thing, dude. That's a badass.
I think that means that you've killed somebody.
Yeah, we looked at something. No, I don't think it was like I looked up something from Eastern Promises or some shit, and it was explaining like Russian tattoos. But anyway, yeah. But did he have some cool fights? Because when he fought people that weren't that great, like when they put him in fights where they knew, because Alexander's gonna go at it, and they put him against people that were also not great at fighting, but were for sure gonna go.
Yeah.
And they had some exciting fights. Like when he fought that James Thompson dude is not a good fighter either. But dude, they fucking went for it, man.
Well,
15 seconds.
Yeah, they went for it, buddy.
I tell you what, whenever James Thompson and fucking Butterball fight,
Butterbean.
Jesus, dude, he knocked him the fuck out, man. That
Butterbean knocked Thompson out.
Hard.
Yeah, you can't stand with Butterbean.
He did that fucking whole like just cocking so hard his head about to spin off his fucking body.
Butterbean hits hard, dude. I mean, he's been boxing for 50 fucking years.
God, dude.
Dude, Butterbean and Minowa is the Minimal Man. That's the funniest fight. That's the coolest fight.
Jump kicks him with
dude,
both
he
feet.
comes out and fucking straight Hulk Hogan big boot, double foot drop kicks him, and then heel hooks his ass. Dude, that beard combo.
Fuck.
What was that all about?
I mean, I can't hate, dude, because I know that dude just plowing and sowing.
Yeah, he's in the trees wallowing, dude. He's in the fucking mud with the pigs, man. In the pig pen, wallowing around. Fucking a man and going down.
With an oink oink there.
Here a pig, there a pig, everywhere a street pig. Old MacDonald had some smarm. Oink oink pig, oink oink.
Potted meat and steak.
Dude, what if, let me ask you
I gotta
this.
piss before we start.
Cool, great. All right, I'll ask.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say, no, that's actually good to do it now. Let's say you're out, Mark, and I mean, we're all obviously, this is hypothetical. We're all married, but let's say you're a single dude. You're out. It's a late night. You meet a lady. Go back to her place. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's always if you're gonna for sure go have intercourse, you don't want to have a meal in between. You know.
A what?
A meal. You don't
Oh,
want
a
to eat.
meal.
Like
I thought you said a mule. I was like,
yeah.
what?
Like if you're gonna fuck, you don't want have sex with the back of a mule while he has sex with her.
Right.
I mean, the mule would like that for sure, but not you. And she might like it too because mules are packing heat. Anyway,
I produced this podcast and I've been wanting to get into something, baby.
like fucking a mule, man. That's what's up. So you don't want to have a meal. You don't want to hit Taco Bell, If anything, you could go to like an IHOP or Waffle House and have like a light breakfast. But like a fast food, you don't want that.
No.
So what if you get back to her house and she wants to have something to eat and you open the cabinet and it's a cabinet all the way full of potted meat? What's your next move, dude? Are you gonna smash?
I mean, in this scenario, as a single man,
Yeah, you're there. Potted meat, though.
I know.
Have you ever seen potted meat in a cabinet before?
No.
I've never seen it possessed by anyone before. I've seen it at the store, but I've never seen anyone with ownership of potted meat.
No, my buddy had cans of it for a while. Like years ago when Atkins first came about.
He was eating potted meat?
He had cans of potted meat. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
It was gross.
That was an Atkins thing? It's fucking potted meat?
Yeah, dude.
So he was eating it, but not putting it like on a cracker or anything?
No, he was just eating potted meat out
Because
of
it's
the
just
can.
smushed up Vienna sausages.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he was all about it, man.
Well, what do you? But are you beating guts? If you see potted meat, if you see not just potted meat,
full cupboard.
I'm talking about like not a cupboard.
We're talking about a pussy,
but no, yeah, pretty much, but not like a. So you know how like you have like the regular cabinet, but also like the smaller above the sink cabinets,
right?
Like let's say the above the sink cabinet, but it's fucking stacked with potted meat. Are you beating guts?
Yeah, because I'm assuming it's for an animal.
Dude, well, why don't you just buy the
it
animals?
is. It's for the pig in the back room.
Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get, dude. But potted meat's weird, dude. And it's it's expensive. Like for what it's dude, it's like $4. It's not like a bargain, dude.
I don't know, man.
For what it is, dude. For what it is, what it is smashed up Vienna sausages. It costs a fucking lot, man. It's like the same price as Spam. Like, why wouldn't you just get Spam?
Yeah, it's gross.
It's Spam spread. And Spam is spread itself. Dude, I'll fuck with Spam, though. You know what I mean?
I like Spam, man. I ain't gonna lie.
There's something to lie about. It's delicious.
That's good, man.
Not raw. You ain't gonna raw Spam.
Do what?
I used to take Spam when I was younger, younger in college, I guess. I'd slice it, and I would fry it in a skillet, and I'd put some honey and pepper on it, and then I'd make some French toast, put that shit on there. Honey, pepper, Spam, fried on some French toast.
Fried Spam's fucking good, man.
Yeah.
If you don't think so, you're...
Something's wrong.
Any negative thing I can think of, because it's good, man.
It is.
I was a late in life Spam eater.
Me too, man. I
didn't
hated it because
try
my grandparents would be like,
yeah,
we're having Spam. So I'm like, oh,
no one wants fucking Spam, you old pig. Spam.
The Hawaiians.
Sperm.
The Hawaiians
Sperm.
do it right, man.
But once you figured out it was like a Hawaiian delicacy, it piqued my interest. But we have a friend that's an islander, dude, and he cooked us up some Spam fried rice one time.
With weed in it?
Yeah. I think that was the first time that I had Spam as an adult, dude. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, me too.
And it was so fucking good. And then it was like definitely the classic edible scenario where you're like, well, it didn't fucking do anything.
Well, the thing is, he didn't say what was in it.
And we just sucked out the frame. No, he told us, dude.
Oh, I didn't listen. I got 2 bowls, and I was sucking doing the old pitfall,
You went
man.
back for it, dude.
I was
You went back for
pitfalling,
more.
man.
Man, it was good. That's the problem with edibles when they're delicious, dude, is that you fucking... Now you're stepping into the twilight zone. All right. Let's do a podcast. You know what I mean?
We got it, dog.
Crap. Ah, crap. Ah, crap.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to do this shit right here. Welcome to Death Metal Dukes. This week we are going to speak about Issei Sagawa. He is a murderer that escaped the long arm of the law by taking a fucking bite out of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
We're talking cannibals again, buddy.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
Cannibals are the most fascinating type of killer to me.
Yeah.
I never get tired of it. It's just ache in your bones that makes you want to chew a person's flesh. That gets me all hot. Hey, real shit. If there was a person available for consumption, I'm with it.
I know that's delicious.
It's gotta be.
Americans gotta be the most delicious.
Yeah, if you're sitting around and you're eating Cheetos, I love a Cheeto. Imagine if you fed a pig only Cheetos, dude. God damn. Who doesn't do that? Why are people not feeding pigs Cheetos 24/7?
We gotta.
I'm gonna get a pig.
That's a market.
If you guys, if anyone has a pig that they want to move on the low, hit me up because I'll eat it and I'll feed that bitch Cheetos for its entire life cycle. That's good living.
Now,
First of all,
smoke that pig?
you trying to tell me a pig doesn't want to eat Cheetos until it's in the gestation period? It's a pig that you're gonna murder anyway and eat its tasty flesh. So you might as well let it enjoy being alive. I'll feed it hot Cheetos, double hot lime Cheetos. That is such a good Cheeto, man.
That's a good pig.
That's a
Hey,
good,
are you gonna
good
smoke that
pig, dude.
Man, smoke that
Yeah,
motherfucker?
smoke it, dude, and just keep putting Cheetos on the wood chips.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like throw a Cheeto. I don't know why I have never done that before.
Just get Cheeto dust and put it on the smoke
Man,
pig.
dude.
That's a dry rub. Is
Man,
the Cheeto
I
dust.
love Cheetos and meat. You know what I'm saying? It's a problem. This is where you get when you haven't eaten carbs in a long time. You get all horned up for Cheetos, dude. But the negatives about Cheetos is they get stuck in your teeth heavily.
Yeah.
You know? They make you fat as shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get a street pump. Well, hell, man. Here we are. We're doing a cannibal episode about Issei Sagawa. And we want to thank you for listening to this podcast. It means the world to us. We love making the podcast. We love interacting with all of you. You can join our Facebook group if you want to get real close to me and Buddy and the rest of the listener base. That's on Facebook. You just look up Death Metal Dicks. It's a group. You got to click the add button. And people get confused, so to help further, once you type it in the search bar, you can narrow your search down by pages, posts, people, groups. Click on that groups, Death Metal Dicks. Bam, hit the add. Me, Buddy, or one of our two cool admins will add you. It'll be awesome, man. We interact in there with almost every post. It's a good time. It's like your own personal Facebook because, let's face it, social media is a hellscape.
Yeah.
And if you narrow it down to a group, it's way more fun. If you like the podcast, you like what we're doing, a super simple way to help us out a ton is just to give us a 5-star review on iTunes. It takes seconds, and it really helps us out. And if you want to type something in, any interaction with the podcast is how Apple does its goofy-ass algorithms, moves you up the charts, is just interactions. So really the only interactions you can do is subscribe, rate, and review. So if you can do those things, that's fucking awesome. If you can tell your friends about us, even better. We got some super fans, some producers, some people who help us get the show rolling. They've helped us make shirts, and we've given them shirts. They've helped us make stickers, and we've given them stickers. And a little bit of funditure, even as low as $1, helps us out tremendously. And if you want to get in with that crowd, patreon.com/deathmetaldicks. Hit that Patreon up. We've got different tiers of rewards. We just recorded a bonus podcast. We're going to do one of those about every other week. Buddy reads lyrics in that. So if you liked it when Buddy read lyrics, get on Patreon. If you want to suggest a crime for us to cover on the podcast, hop on over to Patreon. You can tell us a crime. We will do it in the podcast. If you have a favorite death metal song that you would like to hear us play in the podcast, slide on over to patreon.com. Tell us the song after you sign up, and we'll hook you up with that. There's a lot of rewards, shirts, things of that nature. So get involved. Helps us. We make it fun for you. And if you prefer to donate, like I said, it helps a lot. There's no way to describe with speaking to you how good it feels for us to be able to make a product and have people appreciate it so much that they're willing to help fund it. If you don't like the pay-as-you-go system and you like to do a one-time donation, that is incredible too. You can do that at PayPal and use our email address, deathmetaldicks@gmail.com. And always reach out to us any form of social media. We're all over it. Death Metal Dicks on everything. deathmetaldicks@gmail.com if you want to personally speak to me. Instagram is mostly run by Buddy, so hit us up anywhere. We love to talk.
Yep.
If you have any questions about the show, if you want to talk about metal bands, if you want to show us cool bands, if you want to talk about murder, we will talk to you most of the time.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we're with it. So if you're into the podcast, thank you. Let's keep this motion going. We're just trying to make a giant community of sick horror freaks.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
God.
Mortician it. So, let's kick this motherfucker off with a super weird guy, Issei Sagawa. He was born April 26, 1949. Super wealthy parents. They lived in Kobe, Japan. His parents, of course, caked up.
Yeah.
Rich parents.
Yeah.
Living the life in Kobe. Which I don't understand why you would want to eat human meat when Kobe is home to that Kobe beef, where they feed the cows the sake. Feed the cow the sake. Massage the cow. And make that marbled, thick, juicy, succulent, fat steak.
You can just do that to people. They'll do it willingly.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, Kobe should be the hub. But like I was saying, man, before we got into the pig lane, I would eat a person. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? I think we all would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do a person harm. There should be, you should be able to, like, let's say
You're
I got
an organ donor.
yeah,
But you
right.
Yeah.
So I got a family, you know.
Would you let your kids eat a person
Yeah, dude. Why not?
without them knowing about it?
No.
You let it be their choice.
You'd have to,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
of
cool,
course. You can't force it. You know, that's the thing. Like when your kid, I think when your kids get to an age where they can make a decision, you got to let them make decisions.
Yeah.
You can't force them to do it. I mean, I'll force them to like eat asparagus, but not force. Just be like, well, if you want to have any treats, got to see that asparagus disappear. You feel me? Because that's gonna make it strong. You don't want to be weak like this guy, Issei Sagawa, who was super weak. He was born prematurely. He was so small when he came out that he fit into his mom's hand. He caught a disease called enteritis on top of that, which is pretty common in long hospital stay babies. So it's like a super gnarly form of diarrhea. And you get that and you can't hold anything in. So you're already small, having a hard time growing and developing. That really takes you out of the game because you can't get any nutrients in when you're just a little spray shit factory. It took him actually a few years to get everything together. He had to get regular injections of potassium and calcium, and he was tiny his entire life. Still is, small as shit. Even for, like, Japanese people were small. I'm not trying to be a shithead. If you compare me and Buddy are giant, 6'4", 270-pound ogres, you know? Yeah. Japanese people, generally speaking, are not 6 feet tall.
No.
And in the 150 pounds, like a super in shape. I mean, I watch a lot of combat sports, and all the Japanese fighters are not heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's a small people, but he's small for even Japanese standards. And when you're that type of kid, you're gonna be, you know, he had a slow start, so he's sickly. Bones didn't develop quite right. Weak. That type of I don't feel so good type of kid.
It looks like a Japanese salad fingers.
Yeah, he's creepy, small and feeble. That's you know who Salad Fingers is because you're married to someone that works at Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah,
that's a real Spencer's type of thing.
Well, I mean, I knew about it before that, but
did you?
Yeah, and that's creepy too.
That's a Spencer's Gift. That's like you know how there's pop culture shit that leads you to just buying things. Mm-hmm. It's like, I like this. Where can I find out more? And when you look it up, it's just like an entire plot to get you to buy a certain thing. Salad Fingers and shit like that is like a direct path to Spencer's Gifts.
I sell dildos.
Yeah, I know, dude. I get so
I sell hammers.
hammers, dude. Like straight. Yeah, it's like not novelties, just fucking crams. Like, dude, me and Sam Talent were out one time, and we go to the mall to kill time. And we're like looking around. I haven't been into Spencer's in years, dude. So we're like looking around, and at the front, you know, you got like kaleidoscopes and black lights and band T-shirts and just silly shit like shot glasses with "Over the Hill, 40 years old, drank too much, now you're dead." And then right on the other side of that, in the open, is just giant cram boys. I mean, you got like the ones with the rabbit on it that like moves the dick and the thing vibrates on the clit. And dude, so you know, it's funny because there's kids in there looking around and just there's like pocket pussies. You know, it's just a sex store attached to like Godsmack shirts. So there's like kids making circles, dude. So we're walking out and we see these two kids walking in, and it looks like Donkey Lips and Budnick. It's like a little skinny kid, and he's got like a backwards hat, and then there's a fat kid with him, and the fat kid's got like a flat billed hat and plaid, like way too big plaid shorts. And they hit the door, and he goes, "Hell yeah, man, this is my store." Yeah. I was laughing so hard at that shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, that is your store. Like, that's your culture. You're not gonna have sex.
Yeah, if you could just get paid for this advertisement.
Yeah, that's a good. Hey, man, that's a good rap for Spencer's. If you're young and dumpy, your sex career is slumpy, go to Spencer's where you can see some tits.
Bing.
You can see a tit in Spencer's, man. That's what's cool about it.
Hey, my wife told me,
like unsupervised at the mall, dude.
My wife told me some wild shit. You know, they do piercings, or they don't do piercings, but they have like fucking rings and shit.
All right.
She says some like weird lady. I mean, pretty much like my mom or some shit.
Yeah.
Comes in and goes, "I don't know what size this is," and pops a tit out on the counter.
On the counter?
And so she's like, "Well, I guess I gotta," you know, she like did it like with ease, man. My wife is a trooper, man. She went and helped this lady get a tit ring, man, and just sent her on her way.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, for a lady to see a weird tit, it's one thing. Like, dude, could you imagine if she would have plopped that slop in front of us, dude? Just a big, weird hanger. I always got to say some shit about those fucking slurps.
Well, yeah, you don't say nothing. You suck it and get the milk out of that shit.
No, I do not.
Hey, man.
Dude, have you seen, like, a purple nipple before?
Yeah.
I'm not...
I've been trying to...
I'm not mouthing that, dude.
Hey, man, I've been trying to breastfeed my wife. She won't do it.
You've been trying to breastfeed her?
I pinned her down. She tried to bite me, man. I was like, hey, just...
She should. That's called self-defense. Why are you trying to fucking...
I was like, don't...
tit rape your wife.
I'm not tit raping her. I'm trying to get her strong, man.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your explanation.
You think I'm fucking joking.
You're trying to give her a street pump?
Yeah, man. I mean, these boys, I mean, look. I take my shirt off, lay on the side, man. I'm like a piglet. You just gotta... What I do is I lay on my side, and I slap my stomach and go, come here. She literally ain't biting.
Oh, my God, dude. So, fuck, man, I don't even want to talk about it anymore, dude. That's a lot. Fuck. All right. Let's get back to the old cannibal guy. So he's tiny. He's trying to get his shit together as a baby. Gets regular potassium and calcium injections, which basically means your bones aren't developing. Your veins aren't developing. You gotta get, basically Gatorade coursed through your veins. Gatorade and milk pumping through you. He was a small kid. He was short. Everyone called him pencil legs because he was all skinny and shit. Yeah. He caught up. Oh, God, what's wrong with me? Basically, so, you gotta think that I'm gonna give you a chance to talk about Japanese culture because you're an aficionado.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can we talk about the incident?
What incident?
The Japanese incident, man?
Oh, I got too drunk and tried to rip myself apart? Yeah, man, sure.
All right, so, well, we'll bring that up in a second. So, all right, so, Japan's just it's a wild place because what they've gone off of for years. See, like, when I think about, you hear a lot from foreigners, like, America doesn't have any culture. And in a way, it's correct because we became the white side of the country, took over the country from the natives in the 1700s. and took everything over. So we brought essentially English culture and made it our own entity not that long ago. I mean, it's 2018, 1776. It's what, 500 years, right?
Yeah.
Like less than 500 years. So that is not a long time if you're thinking about developing a culture. Japan is an ancient society that's had one of the most strict ways of dealing with society and one of the most strict beliefs about how you should mature into a person, how you should live your life, the reason why you live your life for thousands of years. And that's what I would think of as a culture. So a problem over there is if you're weak, you understand?
Yeah.
Because everyone and everything there is supposed to be strong. And even if you're not strong, you're supposed to be able to mask that until you're not supposed to be embarrassed in public. You're not supposed to show if you're ashamed of something. You're not supposed to show any weakness in public. You got to keep it to yourself. So if you are clearly smaller and weaker than all the other kids, you're going to have a hard time, you know? And that's got to manifest somewhere. And also, like, if my kids go to school and they have a bad day, or when I used to go to school and I would have a bad day, my grandparents didn't really give a shit because they're old, but like I'll listen to my kids, you know, and they'll say, "Oh, someone called me a stupid head." It's like, "Oh man, I hate to hear that, but it's not that big of a deal. Everything will be cool tomorrow. Just ignore it." But you can't talk like that in Japan. You can't even tell your parents that you're soft, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to internalize everything, and even though you're expected to be like that, and it's kind of ingrained within people for thousands of years, it still takes an emotional toll on you.
Yeah.
And someone like this that's on the very extreme spectrum of being clearly physically weak is going to have a mental barrier where, like everyone else that has mental problems, they've developed from something. And this is what I think really kicked it off from him, because he got really obsessed with looks, male and female. He would obsess over how his classmates looked, how his classmates were developing, who was the tallest, who was the strongest, who was the fastest, who wore a certain type of clothing, how much of their body could you see in their clothing. When he caught a glimpse of certain body parts, he would look at his body part. Like if he saw someone's legs, again, they call him pencil legs, just regular legs to him looked massive. So, he would wonder why he was like this and they were like that, and that would become an obsessive point for him. And of course, there's no outlet to put it in, and he got this really creepy reputation because he would notice their normal anatomies and try to compare it to his anatomy and then obsess over a particular person. An example, in first grade, he saw one of his male classmates wearing shorts, like leaned back or something, and his shorts pulled up so he could see his whole thigh. And he said it was 4 times the size of his thigh. And he became obsessed with just this one classmate's thigh, and he wanted to eat it. He said it looked delicious. And so as a first grader, which is 6 years old, he spent time alone with the thought that he wanted to eat another 6-year-old's thigh because of how it looked compared to his thigh.
Yeah.
So obviously not normal. Obviously having weird fantasies at a very young age. And then on the way up, when did you start jacking off?
Man. I mean, fuck, 4?
No.
I mean, not like
4?
Not like to get,
you're playing with it.
Yeah,
in
the bathtub.
When did you intentionally focus on getting a nut?
Oh, man. I had to be like 10 or 11.
That sounds about right, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I'd say that's
You're just busting clear.
That's about me. Yeah, a little clear. You're going clear. That's a good term for a fucking kid, Jacket.
Yeah.
I'm going clear. It's just Scientology, Mom. Fuck off. What are you doing in there, buddy? It's Scientology. Going clear.
Leave me be.
Oh, man. So he started jacking off. But he was jerking real weird, man, because he was basically thinking about this kid's thigh at a young age.
I thought you were doing technique.
But he was thinking about, yeah, probably take.
Yeah. You first start jacking, you do the old,
I did the bird feeder.
Yeah, man.
I would, instead of you do like the handshake, like basically now, and you gotta. I try to remember that we have a mostly female audience. It's like 60% female, 40% male. So I know that it was different. Like if I could not tell you, I mean, I've been married for 10 years, got a daughter. Didn't really grow. I mean, I grew up with my grandma, but we weren't close or anything. So I got no idea how working a clam works for a lady when you're young. I assume that you probably fucking just go at it, you know?
Yeah.
And fucking slap around, cram your hands in. Anyway, so
both hands.
yeah. Well, it's a two-handed situation, man. You gotta fucking rub the top and in the bottom. Anyway, fucking for a dude, like the general approach is you go in like you would a handshake and you grab that boy, squeeze it tight and up and down. Right?
Yeah.
You know, you're just manipulating the shaft and pulling the skin over the head, usually, and it feels good, man. You're just like stimulating the head.
The masked assailant.
That's it. I mean, yeah. Jacking off's hilarious, dude.
Oh,
You're basically like using the bottom skin of your dick to like make the head of your dick feel good. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of fun. And so you don't know that going in, you know? You just know that like it's hard. And there's like an ache inside because there's some gunk that wants to come out. And so you just start piddling. Like the first time I nutted, I fucking was watching Sex and the City and just smacked my dick with a remote because it was just like hard. And I was like, leave me alone. Like smacked it 3 times with the remote. And it felt cool, man. So I just kept doing it until I fucking went clear, you know? The little Dianetics. But then you start doing the bird feeder where like instead of the handshake squeeze approach, you like go over the top. You know what I'm saying? Like you basically
close all your fingers together and you thumb.
Yeah, because it's a podcast, I'm trying to like describe it to people that are listening. You basically like
you're kneading dough.
Yeah. Like you're grabbing the shaft with your fingertips and the head's touching your palm and then you're like stroking up, man. Like you ever seen the Addams Family?
Yeah.
Thing,
and
where he was just like you to you, like that's basically how you were jacking. But then you found the more superior method.
Well, I think about it, that's really where I probably figured out how to jack like that.
It's from Thing.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Thing taught me how to play with my thing.
Look, I would let Thing jack me off, dude.
You don't know if it's a guy or a girl.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if it's a guy, you know it's gonna be better.
Genderless, yeah, probably so. It's gonna go hard.
Girls can't give hand jobs.
No, I've had some cool ones.
Cool. What do you mean? Cold?
No, I mean like I've had fun being jacked off before.
I mean, yeah, you have fun, but you're not like.
I like it, dude.
You're not gonna come.
I like it, dude.
Did you come?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I shoot fast, man.
Good aim.
Yeah, but he's doing weird shit. Everyone does, but he's doing weird shit and thinking about like body parts.
Yeah.
You know, like even as a kid, like I had no idea how it fucking worked. You know, I thought that the puss was like in the front. So like if you would have asked me the anatomy of a female before I actually saw it, I would think like, all right, so like you start at the face, shoulders, knockers, stomach, and you had like a belly button, dude, and then like right underneath the belly button, facing forward, was the puss.
Yeah, it's like that, but lower.
well, it's like on the end. It's like in between the legs, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like the only exposure that I had was like watching TV, and when they are clapping cheeks, it's like it's always missionary, and they're like on top of each other.
Yeah.
And you're just humping up and down. There's no like swerve to the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like a up and down. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
As a child, so I just think pussies are like right underneath the stomach. And also your dick is right there too. You know, your dick's not like pointing down between your legs. It makes sense, I think. I don't fucking know.
No, I mean I get it. It made sense when I was a kid.
Right. Well, that's all. That's what.
That's
I
how
thought,
aliens are built.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were composed of, dude. So you have weird ideas, but you're thinking about that.
Yeah.
When you're jacking, or even if you're gay, you know, it's like you're thinking about intercourse. He's thinking about body parts.
Well, we all are, but he's thinking about eating them.
I'm thinking about he's not thinking about eating him when he's jacking off yet. It evolves to that.
Oh.
And it gets there in a weird fucking way, man. But he, like you're thinking about intercourse, he's just thinking about like a thigh. Like that's a good looking thigh. That thigh looks tasty. Like fucking jack off to this kid's thigh. He started being obsessed with American stars, movie stars, and he blames how Americans sexualize women in Hollywood for his hunger, because he said that we basically treat Hollywood stars like meat. So we make them look a certain way and prop them up to be a commodity. You know, like look at this thing that maybe you could have, or you could have something like this, which I totally agree with that. I mean, women have often been used as a agent of selling things because you know that it feels good to be in there.
Yeah.
And then they can use that space of pleasure as a way to move product. And I would agree with that. But he was into like Grace Kelly, and I have no idea who that is. Some old fuck. And this is the 70s, you know. He's into 70s Beaver. But he's also, you know, again, like as my general go-to, I think a lot of what's going on with him is that he's gay. And especially in Japan, you cannot, in the 70s, you can't be a gay dude in Japan in the 70s. It's not happening. You know, you'll be killed or you'll have to kill yourself type of thing. And so as his sexuality is evolving, I think he's into dudes. He's looking at women. I think he's confused by the way that he feels about men's bodies as opposed to women's bodies. And that becomes an obsession point, is really trying to break down anatomy and why he likes certain things. And that's where he starts to see women as actual meat. You understand?
Yeah.
So instead of like, he probably sees men as like a pleasurable object and women as like an edible object.
Yeah.
And so as he's progressing sexually, he starts to let the dog first lick his cum up and then full blown fucks the dog.
Wow.
And we joke around about fucking dogs a lot, but my man,
this guy fucked a dog.
he pounded the pooch. He did it.
Screwed the pooch.
He sure did, man. And I've said it on this podcast before, but I feel like as we move forward as a society, right? So sex is going to get weird because sex is procreation.
Yeah.
I mean, if you believe in a higher power or not, if I come inside of a woman, likely that's going to fertilize her eggs. Or not likely, but there's a chance.
Yeah.
And she's going to get pregnant and have a kid. I mean, that's what sex does. That's why it feels cool as hell, because you are like a plant. Your body wants you to do that to keep life, to fucking parasite off the earth, you know? Now, as we move along and start incorporating technology, mechanics into human life, I think regular sex is going to fall by the wayside. Like, so as evolution occurs, maybe 1,000 years from now, your fucking dick won't need to ever get hard again. That type of primitive physical pleasure won't need to be harvested anymore, because if there is babies, they'll come from a smarter way. I mean, I've seen a thing where they have a artificial womb, where they can just make a baby without being inside of a woman. So having a baby is incredibly strenuous on a body. It's terrible. If you had a more efficient process to have a child that you could artificially make and not from coming inside of somebody, you would do that.
Like, then we're going to have cyborgs and cyporgs.
Was a cyborg just like a...
It's just a fucking human ham with a pussy that you just come in and make a babe.
This guy would love it. So anyway, you know, if you can make life happen without traditional genetics, you could make a better human. Thousands of years down the line, there probably won't be human intercourse anymore. Now, what if you're a fucking guy that didn't evolve the right way, you're still horny as shit, and you want to get in something? Dogs, man. You start fucking dogs. And I think that the elite are so far ahead that they're trying to normalize having sex with animals via Snapchat.
What?
Well, so Snapchat is 90% people taking short videos of themselves with a filter that makes them look like a dog. So if it's a real sexy lady and they get a dog thing on their face and the dog's licking and moving around all sexily, I'm just trying to make you horny for animals, dude.
It ain't happening.
And that's not happening to you, but I mean, if it becomes ingrained in your brain, generations later, that's going to manifest itself, and people will be screwing the pooch 24/7. Dogs won't be safe.
24/7?
Yeah, just having sex.
They're going to empty their
with
bags in a dog?
all the time. It just never stops. It's endless. process of dog
They're gonna
pussy.
deflate their bag into a dog.
Yeah, man. I think so. And I think that it's a.
Hey,
I think it's
have
an important conspiracy.
I used to work at a strip club, and this stripper told me one time, and she was fucking. Let me tell you, she was a real winner. But she told me her husband liked whenever she would jack their dog off in front of her.
No.
In front of, I swear to God.
No.
I swear. And there's this.
She liked it when her husband would jack the male dog off.
No. When she would jack the dog off in front of him, he liked to watch it.
Man, come on.
And there was a, and I'm not. I mean, I wish this was a joke, but it's not. But there's a patron, and there's an older guy. He's like from some buttfuck town in Arkansas, but he'd come to Hot Springs, and
dog fuck town in Arkansas.
dude. He goes, well, that's how you get their trust. I'll do whatever you want. I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. To get a dog's trust, you got to make him bust.
I mean, I don't know. We've probably said something similar to this, but that is where that derived from. Like,
it's funny that we have to go back in time to remind ourselves that we've extenuously talked about having sex with dogs. Let's move on from it. How about that?
Okay.
I gotta pee.
Oh, Piss City. That's where
I didn't mean to talk about having sex with dogs for 20 minutes, but I can't help it, man. I know what's happening to the future of humanity.
The Illuminati treating our minds like parties.
Yeah. So you talk about dog fucking for a while.
I don't want to talk about dog fucking.
Yes, you do. You love it.
Oh God. Dog fucking. Anyway. Oh God. Oh shit. I'm trying to wrap my mind around the thought process. Well, there's just so many things to wrap your mind around with the show, as far as like different mental health disorders. You know, like eating a person, like blows my fucking mind that you just some kind of weird body dysmorphia where you gotta eat somebody, but you fuck a dog on top of that, man. I don't know. I'm fucking blown away right now. I'm fucking blown away. I'm drunk. I'm blown. Smooth. I don't know. It's fucking. The earth is a terrible place.
You guys been drinking?
You guys get drinking. You get
Sidetrack.
Yeah. Get sidetracked, man. Have you ever been sidetracked? Just when somebody sucks your dick from the side, like a corn cob.
I mean, I guess I can't think of any time in particular. I know that has happened, like, you know, during the process. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, man. I mean, I always like to think about
Faces moving around in
Yeah.
different directions. It's just bound to happen.
I mean, as gross as Dixie Cafe is, we know that their corn was awesome because they would fry that shit, man. And I always was like, man, if a lady treats you like that, the way you eat that corn, but then they do it to a dog, and it's a whole different thing.
Disgusting.
Fuck, man. Kibbles and tits.
Shit. Welcome to the dog pound.
Welcome to where you make brown. That's the fuck.
We're gonna go down to the dog pound in Dogtown. Suck a dog down. Sorry.
Rev me up.
Just got pissed. Too
Fuck
much,
the
man.
dog.
Been staying very hydrated.
You know?
That's what I don't understand about hydration either. Is you just fucking keep drinking water and you keep pissing. So are you staying hydrated because the water's going in your body but it's coming out?
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to fucking rock.
I'm going to play it, and then I'll hit record.
We're about to get into some Japanese culture, buddy.
All right, brother.
You're for gay. So we're gonna talk about your fucking seppuku, dude. My man. What's that click all about, dude? Oh no, baby. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Do you have like a click track on, dude?
I think I might.
Sounds like it.
How did that happen?
I don't know, baby.
No, it shouldn't be. I mean,
Yeah, surely you can just turn it off.
yeah. I think that was it. Hold on.
Yeah. Can we stop it there? To get a dog's trust, you gotta make it bust. Oh fuck! You pointed at me to record. I thought you said.
Sorry, it's all right. Hold on. Let's just.
It should be you because you said I mean, but we can just.
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay, I got you.
We'll just.
Now, while he's sexually abusing their poor pooch, he is no doubt thinking about anatomy still, and this is where his desire to eat flesh comes from, because a dog is a carnivore. Well, they eat real similar to a human, but a dog, given the chance to eat human flesh, absolutely would.
Absolutely would.
Doesn't matter how much your dog loves you. If you died and your body was in a room and your dog had to eat to live, he would eat your ass.
For sure.
And that's what he starts to dwell on. But he says that he doesn't have the desire at all to kill a human being to be able to get the flesh. He simply wants to feel flesh in his mouth. And that becomes his number one sexual desire. Now, we've talked a lot about serial killers. We've talked a lot about the sexual impulses and the psychological impulses that drive a lot of killers, drive a lot of rapists. And what we have for sure figured out is that it becomes so strong, it motivates every action they take. Like, if you get your brain so wired on one thing, and obviously you have a mental issue to help it along, but you just focus in on this one thing. I gotta chew flesh. I gotta chew flesh. I gotta chew flesh. And it becomes a sexual thing for you, and then it also becomes a fantasy for you, and then you start to live in that fantasy. Yeah. Very easy to do for this type of...
When your fantasy becomes your goal, that might be dangerous.
Generally is dangerous. And, you know...
Sometimes.
Well, yeah, I guess it just depends on what you're into.
Depends
like, my fantasy is being a member of Manowar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I just like dreamed it, believed it, and tried to achieve it, it's not dangerous.
No, because it's not going to happen.
No.
Do you come to it?
No.
Come on.
Yes,
you're fucking lying.
Of course. I jack off to me being swole as hell.
You just go buy Manowar CDs and crack open the booklets and just fucking...
rub them. I just like the way Manowar's paper feels, man.
Have you ever played that game where you and your friends get together and they try to see who can figure out the biggest load? But you mean you don't jack off in front of each other. You just have the same magazine. You go in the bathroom. You jack off on a picture to see how big your load is, and then your friend flips the next page. Then you go in and go, hey, this is my load. And then you whack off on the next one to see how big the next load is. But you just do that with Manowar shit.
I've never done that or heard of that. What the fuck?
I mean, I just made it up.
No, you didn't.
That's a cool drinking game. So...
Oh, yeah, so cool, dude. Nothing's
what you
cool.
do?
How cool is that, man? So basically, Buddy is jacked off. They compared load sizes to some of his dumbass friends in his bathroom. Probably the same bathroom that his mom would scorch with period blood all the time.
Oh, man. Hey, that bathroom has been through it.
Man, so
hey, somebody bought my parents' house, man, and 6 months later they put it up for sale.
Yeah, of course they did.
They went in that bathroom and go, oh, it smells like crab meat.
Fuck. Yeah, and another thing with this is that this is my theory. So the Japanese have some real weird beliefs about wealth and power. So like the more opulent you can be, the higher you rise through society. And opulence in Japan is often consuming certain things. They've goddamn near made rhinoceroses extinct because if you eat rhinoceros horn, it's supposed to make your dick bigger and stronger. And same with like tiger dick if you eat tiger dick. But just also eating rare shit, shark fin, any type of weird shit that they can get that no one else can get and eat with their friends or in front of their friends or just show that they have a lot of money by acquiring this product is something that the Japanese people are super into. Yeah. Especially like a business class person, which his father was. So I think that because of his weak and feeble body and state, and he had a wealthy father, and you know he's trying to impress his dad, impresses everyone around him like every kid is, and I just have to figure that in his mind consumption of humans would obviously be ultra rare. You know, like what is more rare than eating a person? No one does that.
Yeah.
So that's probably a little bit of the driving force too, because you know he's got a desire to become a cool person because he's so feeble and small and abnormal from where he's at in this time period.
Wow. Yeah. I
And
mean,
Japanese shit's weird, man. Like samurai culture. It's always been that. It still is. They use like samurai practices in modern day still, like business. Everything is like based on.
they still have one of the highest suicide rates too. I mean, it's a very unique culture. I mean, there's a poet from there. I've got a book of his. I can't remember his name, but he committed seppuku whenever he was, after he got to his final. He's like, man, this is the best I can do, and he just said, fuck it, and killed himself.
Write the poetry, make no money. End of life, not take money from government. I do seppuku.
God.
You almost committed seppuku one time.
I did, man. A couple days before I did it, I got ripped on supposed LSD, and
You took a bunch of acid.
I took a bunch. I took like 10 fucking hits.
You
man.
sat in the bathtub.
But here's the thing: is I did it for like 3 days straight. So
right. Oh,
I did
that's bad.
2 hits, and then the next day I took 4 hits, and then the next day
because you gotta get more.
and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm taking 10 today, dude." And I took 10, and I just started watching these Japanese films about Miyamoto Musashi, who's a real dude. He wrote the Book of Five Rings. He was hard as fuck.
Hard as fuck.
He was
but
fucking,
that's whatever. That's the and that's what people aspire to be in Japanese society.
So, I mean, this dude was like 8 years old and fucking was a good swordsman. And by the time he was 13, he killed a full-grown man in a duel. He was a hard motherfucker, But he was good at everything. And so, it's like you said, they strive to be perfectionists. I mean, everything from, you couldn't be left-handed in society back then. They would kill you. If you were left-handed and you did not draw a sword right-handed, they would kill you.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was.
Right.
And so, it's like you said, there wasn't gay people. But if you took a kid on as your apprentice as a samurai, they would fuck the kids to break them. They would break them and build them up. Yeah. And they did that with the prostitutes. When you had ninjas or when you call them, what do they call them?
I love doing that voice, man.
Well, they called them shinobi back then, or Tengu. They consider ninjas demons. But they would
sneak around. Hey, fight face to face, draw a sword, battle action. Shinobi sneak around.
But they had shinobis, and they figured out that these geishas were perfect for being ninjas because what better to beat whores down and kick their ass and fuck them up and rape them and do all this shit, and then take them into teach them how to kill all these men and do all this shit. And they called them a konoichi. So they'd take a konoichis and they would just set them in these castles and just fuck these samurais up.
Fuck yeah.
And do all this shit. And so that whole culture was about like being hard, being tough. They wanted you to be a man. They wanted, even the women, they wanted to be masculine. They were trained, it's like all the samurai would leave the village.
Right.
They knew how to sword fight. They would, if somebody tried to infiltrate their shit, they knew how to do it. The kids did too. Yeah. So it was all about being a man. So with this guy, it's hard.
Be a man, Hulk.
So going back to whenever I tried to do this shit, I got fucking ripped on LSD, and for some reason, man, I just started watching these samurai movies.
Yeah,
man,
you were just being hard, dude.
Which are like essentially fucking, Western movies are in the U.S. So you watch these like 1950s samurai movies, except they're just like spraying blood and shit. And
yeah,
it's like,
hell yeah.
It's fucking cool, man. And so I don't know, man. I got done with my trip. I couldn't get it out of my head for 3 days.
You got swept up, dude.
And a friend goes, "Hey, I got married today. You want to come hang out and party?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." I end up drinking like a fuckload of liquor, and I still had this thing in my head. And then I'm at a party, and I'm like, "Fucking, I'm fighting everybody." And so this guy's like, "Well, the party's over." I was like, he goes, "The party's over." He's like, "You're damn right." And I pull a beer out of his fridge and crack it and start slamming it. And nobody would fight, man. So I just went home, and my friend gave me a ride. And then I called all you guys. And somehow along the line, somebody called my grandpa, and he showed up. And I'm sitting on the porch with a sword, and I'm like, "Here we go."
Yeah, yeah.
And I draw it, and all of a sudden I hear my grandpa go, "Take him out!"
Nah, dude. So I was on a trip like I am every weekend, and I get home like 4 a.m., dude. I drove, so I drove for like 9 hours and get home and finally laid in bed to pass out, and my fucking phone rings, and I look down, and it's one of our friends, and he's like, "Man, buddy's all fucked up. He's got some real shit going on." And I'm like, "Oh man, fuck, whatever." Dude. And so then you call me, and you're fucked up, dude. You were crying for sure, but but also like that super drunk slur where you're like, you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to be
My
totally
mind
fair,
was-
you were all the way like you just rode this weird acid samurai trip into this and got super drunk and like fumbled it out. So it was like autopilot. But you know how when you're drunk and you like you know that you're talking, but your body's like, I'm not talking.
Yeah.
So you're like,
I was all feebed.
you go. Answer the phone. You go, I need you. Come to my house and cut my head off. And I was like, what? And you're like, you gotta cut my head off. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And he like kept saying it. And I was like, what kind of goofy shit? So I tell Jackie, I'm like, hey man, buddy is like real fucked up. I'm gonna have to go put him in the ape cage for a while and let him cool out. And then our friend called again and was like, it's fucking bad, man. Like you're like, he's gonna kill himself. And I'm like, why the fuck would he do that? And you call me again, you're like, you're my second. I'm gonna cut my guts open, and then you're gonna take the sword and cut my head off. I was like, God damn it! So I get I was like, wait till I get there. That was the move I used. I was like, don't do it without me, man. So I fucking drive there, dude. And as soon as I open the car door, you go, you're here. And you fucking pull the sword out of the sheath. And I just start fucking running up to the porch. And your grandpa's there. And he's like, oh, damn it, Will, don't do this. And then I get there. You're like, all right. And, dude, you like straight, like, tried to pull it into your stomach. So I got to pull your fucking hand away. And then you're trying to fight me, so we're fighting, and I just fucking take your bag and start choking you to sleep. And when I take your bag, dude, you fucking try to like roll out of it. And I
tried to, I was trying to tap. I think I remember that part.
You did try to tap, but before that, you fucking tried to like throw me, but you just like fell forward, and I smacked my fucking forehead on the concrete.
Well, I wrist locked somebody off the deck.
yeah. Well, not me, baby. And I fucking put your ass to sleep, dude. Yeah, you tried to tap, and I was like, man, fuck that. He's got to get out of this headspace.
Yeah.
And then you woke up, and it was pretty much all good, and then we took you to Waffle House.
Yeah, I was like, man, I just want to go to Waffle House, guys.
Yeah, man, we went to fucking Waffle House, dude, and that's
man,
all,
I just remember.
That's what Waffle House saves. But yeah, hey, look, guys, acid is a lot of fun, but you got to be responsible with it.
Oh, man, and I was not, man.
No,
I was fucking
you were
gone.
alone watching samurai movies.
Well, the whole thing behind the whole head cutting thing is like there's a difference between Harikiri and seppuku. So you like, you know, if you die with honor, you're supposed to have somebody take your head and present it to your family. Like here, you know, he died an honorable death. Somehow my grandpa got in the mix, and I think he was supposed to get my head. You know, so it's like, oh, I was thinking,
like, Grandpa, you gotta come.
You know, he was sitting there going, "What a dumbass! Take him out." You know, like I know that. I heard him go, "All right, take him out." You know, like,
well, he's a cop, dude. That's like cop talk, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit sucked, dude.
Oh, God.
And then it was cool because we just went to Waffle House and it was delicious.
Yeah, man.
But I got home, man. Like, I mean, I wasn't mad. I was just like, Jesus Christ, friendship could be stupid as fuck.
Yeah, but it was good, man.
I got home at like 8 a.m.
But that was the thing, man. I was obsessed with that shit forever, and I was obsessed with it before that, but my head just got in that shit. But, I mean, Japanese culture in general is weird. I mean, you can go buy adult diapers at a place of business and wear it and shit your pants, and people are like...
Man, you can buy, like, people's shitty diapers, like, in vending machines. You can buy, like, used underwear.
Oh, yeah.
In vending machines in Japan.
And they just smell it while they're working.
Yeah, you just give it a whiff. It's weird shit. They do weird shit. But, I mean, basically everything, you basically, even though it's modern day and they have modern day conveniences, as a male, you have to present yourself as like a hard, unemotional piece of fucking steel.
Yeah.
That has the world by the balls and has everything they want to have.
Which is very weird because it's not really like that now. I mean, you think about Asian women, they don't really like sleeping with Japanese men.
Yeah, because they're weird and gross.
They come over to Hawaii. They come over to Hawaii and try to fuck Samoans, you know?
Is that true?
I mean, they do.
Where did you get that statistic from?
I watched a whole thing about Asian women.
Samoans
and they
have got huge pieces, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the #1 peace culture. Like, people are always like, man, black dudes have huge. Let me tell you something right now. Samoans have got giant pipes.
They're cool, man. They talk like Yoda. They're fucking
they are cool, man. I like Hawaiian shit, man. Like fucking, yeah, bro. You like lick?
Yeah, I watched a video about a girl talking about why Asian women don't like sleeping with Asian men is because
they're fucking dorks.
They're small. They don't like small dudes.
Man, we gotta go to Asia, my guy.
I don't want to sleep with an Asian woman.
Why? Why?
They're pussy sideways.
Oh my god, dude. Attention, DJ Paul.
They got teeth in them.
Oh my god, man.
Sharp teeth.
But yeah, that really has got to be putting pressure on this dude because he's a fucking feeble. And his dad's got money, but he does it. And he's not he's like a student. Like, then he becomes like it's buried in academics. Yeah. Like, he's not at first a great student, but this happens again a lot, surprisingly a lot with killers, is that they are not naturally good students, but they obsess in it and then work really hard at it. Yeah. I think it becomes a tool of manipulation because
that's also part of their culture too. You don't do bad in school there.
Yeah,
they'll disown you. They'll put your ass on.
Yeah,
streets.
I mean that's all true, and it's not like he's doing bad, but you know how like a lot of killers excel because they have that obsessive trait. But I think that also becomes part of the cover because if you're like really good at stuff like work, being a student, like Chikatilo, BTK, you're focused on that and work hard at that, and you make it look like this is your entire life, then you can do some sketchy shit behind closed doors that doesn't really ring red flags up because you're good at these things and that's what society wants you to do, but you get to do all this creepy shit in your bedroom to get away from it. Now, again, he is horny for Western women. He loves them. He watches movies. One thing he starts doing before it evolves into something violent is that he starts stealing money from his dad in order to take Western women out on dates. So when people come to visit Japan as a tourist, I mean, no one wants to fuck this weirdo, but he will get a bunch of cash and take them on dates and shit like that to try to be as close to him as he can. So he just doesn't have money. He's a student, but he can take money from his rich dad, take him out on nice dates, drive him around Japan, take him to the coast, show him a good time, and then, expect to have sex. He's like an incel, like involuntary celibate, just those fucking nerds that think that they should be having sex with women, but they don't understand that the reason they can't is because they're fucking weird dorks. They think it's just like a society thing, like, oh, women won't have sex with me. Well, they won't have sex with you because you're gross. Your personality sucks. Your hygiene sucks. You wear relaxed fit, high water jeans. How do you have both of those things? Why are they loose but too high? If they're going to be, you know what I'm saying?
He's wearing some Canyon River blues, man.
Yeah, them CRBs, Lee pipes. Dude, Lee pipes in the mix.
Wow, they didn't have Lee pipes, man. Sharp ass teeth.
Dude, Lee pipes are just trailer jinkos. Those shits were dope. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man. Those
like you cut them off.
Those are the kick flipping ass jeans.
Yeah, man. If you can't fucking. Jinkos, man, you're living too comfortable of a life. Yeah, Lee pipes, you got the look down, but you're also poor.
Jinkos, Vans, Lee pipes,
I'm gonna take a swig.
Flaming goddamn airwalks, man. I had some fucking airwalks that had fire on them. Think about that shit. I think I got them from my Gadzooks, which is basically
no, it's Spencer's, dude. Gadzooks is Spencer's. That's where Spencer's came from. It was like evolution. Yeah, dude. Gadzooks is Spencer's.
Well, I mean, I feel like they're all the same shit. JCPenney is Sears. That's the way I feel about it.
But he's becoming obsessed, man. And that type of person, like an incel person, that's where you come up with the concept of like the friend zone, because you're hanging out with these girls and you can just have a platonic friendship with the opposite sex. Yeah. And I feel like there's going to be a few people in our listener base that's going to hit particularly hard. Hey. You can you can have friends that are female that are attractive, but like the goal is not to have sex with them. They're your friend, you know. And there's groups of people that don't understand that, so they think that any inkling of friendship with the opposite sex is building a sexual relationship.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So anything invested into a friendship, like me and you invest in our friendship, we hang out.
But we fucked before.
Yeah, continuously. We're actually fucking right now.
Yeah, pounding.
And then we've just done it so much we can have casual conversations while mounted.
It's so loose you can't hear it, man. It's just,
it sounds like the fucking
ocean
blizzard machine at DQ, just a fucking low. So, but he's not that type of guy. So when he's hanging out with these Western women that he's paying for everything, he just thinks that if he's offering and he's doing. So no one is giving the precedent of it being a date that would lead to something. He's just meeting these women and hanging out with them, but paying for everything. So at the end of it, he expects there to be a sexual connection. You know, like he is only building that up in his mind. There's no signs that allude to that. There's no flirting. There's no like innuendos being dropped. It's just a picture that he's painting.
But that's also how it is in Japan, though. If you spend,
well, that's how it is with a certain group of dorks everywhere. You know what I mean?
But in Japanese culture, it's like if you spend time with a woman, you usually end up having sex with them because they're supposed to commit time to you. I mean, that like it's that old samurai belief of,
I don't like to equate it to that because like being a samurai came from being legitimately hard, like an actual warrior. You train to fight, you learn how to do certain things for combat purposes, and that was why you had to be hard. I don't like to believe that strong-minded, willed individual.
Well, it's like anything; it gets watered down.
Yeah, real watered down in
really,
that case. But
yeah.
that happens in America. It happens everywhere. I've known plenty of people like that, where they thought that because they're the opposite sex and they spent money and time with you, that you owe them sex, essentially.
Yeah.
And so he's building that up, and then he's also not communicating it at all. So that just mounts frustration, that friend zone shit, Yeah. It's like he's not saying anything. He's still continuing with the friendship, still spending money, and then swallowing it all in, nowhere to dump his emotions, and it just swells to this thing inside of him. So his first move is he stalks a German woman to her house. At this time, he is a student in Tokyo working on his master's degree. He sees her at school. He follows her to her house, and he waits till she passes out, watching through the window. He sneaks in, and his whole plan is once she falls asleep, he's going to sneak in without her noticing, tear a piece out of her flesh without her noticing, sneak off in the night with a piece of meat to go. The original Uber Eats. And then she wakes up before it can happen, and he's in her house and kicks his fucking ass.
Kicks it.
I mean, she's a German woman, full grown, and he's a 4'10", 100 pounds Japanese sickly pencil-legged fuck. So he gets the shit kicked out of him. You know what I mean? You can't fight a fucking German woman when you're a little Japanese dude.
Yeah, man.
You're all sickly and shit.
Your diet's different.
He fucking smashes that motherfucker.
Yeah,
she's been eating fucking steaks and he's been eating fucking rice pellets.
Yeah, rice pellets, and she's been eating spatzel with fucking gravy slapped up. Man, I love
God
spatzel.
damn, dude, I like a German woman too, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I like yodelers.
Is that what yodeling is? I don't fucking know, dude.
Man,
that's what get you honked.
That's what dogs sound like, or that's what dogs hear when you call them. Man.
Yeah. Oh, this kid
running in circles and shit. They're like, woo!
Oh my god, dude. So yeah, she kicks his ass. Of course, calls police, and he's charged with attempted rape. So they take him down to the police station. They interrogate him. Now, he is smart enough to not tell police, like, yeah, I mean, my plan was to rip her up and fucking eat her. He just says, like, yeah, I broke in. I was going to try to sexually assault her. In 70s Japan, that's why I really wanted to frame this entire culture. No one gives a fuck.
No.
It's not a big deal. It's really not even illegal.
It's all about men.
Right. You're not supposed to break in the house, and then, the cops are like, Siri pencil rigs. He can't rape a no-run. He go to the house. He cannot have a sex with a big woman.
My favorite is like whenever you hear like somebody describing in a crime documentary, but it's Japanese and the Japanese talk over, but they have to have like. They're like,
I love that shit. Yeah, dude, there's two. Well, for males, there's two types of Japanese talk. Like one is the fast one, and it's like kind of quiet, and it's like Ichi metatiko, latsepuko metatito, and then there's like the hinamata.
yeah,
And that's just like regular, like ordering lunch.
that's that commanding shit.
But it's just like some regular shit. Like
One's sexy and one's commanding.
You think the other one's sexy?
Whisper, commander. Yeah, man. Yeah, you fucking Pete steal some shit, man, like in Japanese.
Man, dude, just imagine how much fucking ting-tang Pete Steele would have got in Japan.
He would have split them bitches in
Clean
half
up,
like
yeah, he had
logs, man.
Big piece, dude.
He had a huge dick.
Swinging pipe, dude. Who will See my wing. Well, really everyone, because he did Playgirl.
Yeah,
That's
did.
a big deal,
Did you ever
dude.
Google
that pays
that?
a lot of
You
money.
saw
Yeah, of
the-
course.
yeah,
I
of
just
course,
told
man.
you I seen his pipe,
Yeah,
man. I looked it up right away. As soon as I found out that happened, I looked it up directly, and it's
Man.
swinging meat.
Lee pipes, Pete pipes.
Dude, Pete Pipes. That's a cool shirt, man.
Man, hey,
I love Pete Steele.
You know how
dude.
organs have pipes on them, man? What if you just cut a bunch of dicks off, like different lengths, and you can make different tunes and tones out of an organ with cocks?
That'd be cool as hell, man.
Yeah, it would smell bad as fuck, but it'd be cool.
God damn it! So nothing happens to him. Not a goddamn thing. He continues his education. In 1977, he ends up moving to Paris, working on his PhD at the Sorbonne in Paris. That is a public university that apparently takes immigrants as students. Probably an exchange student type of situation. He's trying to get his PhD in literature. Now, when he's living on campus, he says that he got a different prostitute every single night and had the same exact routine every night, which is he would get the prostitute from the district, come back to his house, get them to come to his house and make them sit at his desk. He had his guns stored in a cabinet behind where he had his desk set up. So the desk would be directly in front of him with the woman's back to him, and the cabinet would be directly to the woman's back. And so he could get the gun out of the cabinet, pointing at the woman who he's making sit forward, which is just because he's paying them to do a certain thing, point the gun at them, and he would not have the whatever you would call heart go through the desire of like the actual push to pull the trigger. But that became his fantasy, is that for him to get sexually aroused, he would have to bring the woman back to his place, sit them down, pull the gun out, act like he was going to shoot them.
Set small goals, man. Build up to big ones.
Yeah, and then that was just the thing that he did continuously over and over again. He said every single fucking night. It sounds a little bit unbelievable because of the finances, but again, his dad was super rich, and I imagine just he blew all his money on that while he's working on his PhD. Now, he meets a Dutch student, and again, his weird shit was a pretty typical Japanese thing, is that his desire to eat someone would swell. And he says that when he masturbates or is able to have sex with a prostitute or whatever, anytime he can get a nut out, that relieves the pressure of his desire to eat. Again, that's a typical serial killer thing. And then that intermingles with how Japanese people just have weird beliefs. Like if you eat a tiger cock, you get more powerful erections. If you're not getting boners all the time, if you eat a rhino horn, that makes your male fertility stronger. You get bigger boners. You shoot huger loads. Just different things you eat, you take on characteristics from that. So in his mind, he's now converted his fantasy into if he eats a human, he will inherit those characteristics. And again, he's fighting off the homosexual urges, so he zeroes in on women that are big, strong, athletic-looking women, big thighs. That's what he likes. And so he thinks that if he... Because he's got that weird leg shit, you know?
Yeah.
No ass, no thighs, small pencil legs. Basically, has got a body and then pencils. So he just obsesses over legs, and he finds this Dutch student, and she's in the same PhD program as him. He sees her every day. Her name's Renee Hartvelt, which is why we said Renee in our Lita Ford Aussie cover song in the beginning. And he tries to date her, and she's super nice. And also, you know, Europeans are really free sexually most of the time, especially like Dutch, Netherlands. They're not a repressed Puritan society. They're born of paganism. So sexually, they don't have Puritan beliefs. Japan, I wouldn't say Puritan because they're Japanese, but they're pretty like keep sexuality hidden away, especially in the 70s. It's a private thing that you don't want to be out in.
Well, their religion too is kind of like that. So there's like there's a lot of Shintoism and Buddhism. So some people match the
conservative.
Two together.
That's a good way to say it. It's a conservative society, and Europeans are more free. So if you ask a Japanese woman out and you're Japanese and she says no, it's a big deal because your honor is affected. You know, you lose face, and also the sexual connection isn't out in the open. But if you ask a European girl out, they're so used to that type of shit that asking someone out is basically asking them to go fuck.
Yeah.
You're just not into it, and you would just say no, and it's not a big deal to a European like it would be to a Japanese or even Americans. You know, you remember the first time you asked a girl, quote unquote, out, like how big of an event it was in your brain. Well, it's just not stigmatized like that in Europe. You know, people just fuck, and they fuck whoever they want to, whenever they want to, for however long they want to, until they find the right person and decide to settle down only to have a family. Like, that's regular European culture.
Yeah.
No in the closet, hidden sexuality, Puritan stigma.
That's why there's a difference in Japanese porn and everywhere else porn.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't really...
You can't show penetration in Japan.
No, and they blur the dude's face out. They don't ever blur the girl's face out. So you just bukkake them. They're like, oh, that's not even a real dick. It's blurred out. It's just milk.
Yeah, they're just milking it up.
They're just milking them.
Maybe that's why they blur the dicks out, just to bukkake them.
Yeah, well, they blur it out because they're like,
it's not a real dick.
Yeah,
this
is just for fake
formula.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so he's obsessed with this girl, and all of this creepy shit is manifesting itself. She's not, also dealing with prostitutes, like that becomes unfulfilling because there's no, like, chase. There's no work put into it. It's just basically you can get these prostitutes to come back to your house, put them in the scenario you want them to, jack off on them or have the type of sex you want to with them. No challenge. No. And that, for someone who's got like a psychotic belief that keeps eating at them over and over and over again, that doesn't do it for you.
It doesn't build their ego.
Right, because exactly. It doesn't feed into this insane fantasy that they built up. So she's super nice, and they're working on the same shit. So he starts to try to get her to come over to work on school projects. And they legit have a school project together. She speaks German, and so he's presenting to her the idea that he needs to get these German poems translated to write a paper. So that's how he gets her over to his apartment. She is going to translate these poems that are written in German to him in English so he can write his paper about that. And, there's no internet, there's no Google Translate, so that makes sense. It checks out. Again, she's a nice person. He's being nice to her, trying to woo her. It's not happening. So she comes over. She sits down at the desk. She's reading the poetry in German to him. He gets in the cabinet, pulls the gun out, points it at her, pulls the fucking trigger. And again, he hasn't actually shot at anyone before, so the gun, something doesn't go right. He probably has a safety on, I'm guessing. He says the gun jams and doesn't fire, so all that effort went out the window. He has to hide the gun immediately. She doesn't know about it at all, which is insane. He just pulled the gun out, pulled the trigger, nothing happened, and he had to hide it away, and she just thought it was over there helping him with his project. So that, for most people, would be super discouraging. You would give up, throw in the towel, say, well, it's not going to happen. I had the perfect opportunity. I couldn't execute. We'll try again with someone else later. No, not him. He brings her back over the next night. Basically, as soon as that happens, he starts raging, saying he's tired. His brain's not working right. He needs to finish the project tomorrow. Will you please come back tomorrow and help me with it? She says, yes. He gets his gun together. He stays up all night, walking around his apartment, screaming, freaking the fuck out. Why couldn't I do this? Dishonorable. Bring a shame to the society. And then brings her back the next night. She sits down, starts reading. Bam. Pulls the gun out, shoots her one time right in the back of the head. He says when he shot her, the gun fired. He saw the bullet go through her head into the wall. The blood splattered with the bullet, and she kept reading the poem in German.
Yeah.
After she was shot in the back of the head for almost 2 minutes, and then she slumped over. Which, when I heard him talking about that, and he's real casual. There's a bunch of interviews with him. The Vice one's real good. But when he casually speaks about how he shot her, and you could tell that he doesn't feel remorse about the crime, just the aftermath of the crime.
Yeah.
But the way that he talks about how he shot her in the back of the head, and she just kept doing what she was doing, like nothing happened, and then slumped over, didn't notice it. That's almost kind of relieving to me, because you think about when you die. Like, if something happens to you and you don't expect it and it's like a direct shock to you, I think that your body just floods itself with DMT, because that's what every other living organism does. It's pretty much proven science. You don't notice the moment that you die.
Yeah.
So you probably don't feel a lot of pain. I guess depending on what you're going through, if it just suddenly hits you and you didn't see it coming at all, probably not as bad as you would think to die.
My grandpa, he was a state trooper, Arkansas state trooper, and he told me one time he had showed up where a guy was pinched between a tree and a car.
Yeah.
And the guy explained exactly what happened, and they were able to make a report. I mean, the guy was already dead. They checked his pulse, but he was still talking to him, and he was telling him, and then all of a sudden he got hung up on one word, and he repeated it over and over before he finally fell in the hood of the car. So it's...
Man, that's like the same thing that happens in the movie Signs with Mel Gibson and
Is
M.
it?
Night Shyamalan. Yeah, you've seen that movie.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should watch it.
What
it's
is it?
Not good. Signs. It's like...
Is that the shitty alien?
Yeah, because, like, every M. Night Shyamalan, Mel Gibson collaboration, he loses his wife right away, and then him and his kids have to fight off some supernatural force. But that's what happens to his wife. She gets pinned in between a car and a tree.
Okay.
She talks to him. Everything's all good. And, yeah, but that's what... Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
What you described, obviously, they've looked into how people die like that.
Yeah.
And made it into the movie. But yeah, dude, so she just kept reading and slumps over finally. Supposedly, he passes out from shock for like 5 minutes, which, he doesn't... I mean, he's probably not checking the clock, and it's just him and her in there.
Yeah.
But, dude, as soon as he wakes up, he goes into frenzy mode because he realizes, okay, this is why I did this. Now she's here. Here's my chance. And, of course, first thing this fucking dork does is rape the body.
Yeah.
Move number 1.
Because you're supposed to be a man.
Number 2... Do you think that's why, buddy? Shut up. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, my God.
I'm kidding.
Like, I shouldn't have killed her, but now I did. No bring shame on family. Copulate with corpse. So, necrophilia, first move. Then, he starts going into, like, super exhilarated, here's everything I've ever wanted. My chance to eat people. And the way he goes about it is he directly just tries to bite into some ass.
Oh, God.
I mean, he just tries to eat butt, but like not the way we would, like where we would spread our loving partner's butthole open and lick it a bunch.
Yeah.
He tries to bite cheek, and he's trying to chew through it, and he's like, again, one of the softest males that's ever lived before.
Yeah.
He's not hard, and his fucking jaw starts to hurt instantly. He can't bite through butt. Which, it's hard. People flesh is tough.
Yeah, I've bitten a butt, but I never tried to, like, go down.
Fucking chop the rump.
Yeah, man.
You're a rump chomper.
Well, he, like, you might be, like, getting ready to get down. You might fucking bite a neck or some shit or a tit.
Yeah.
But, like, you do it to the butt while you're like, chowing it, and you bite into it and then go to it.
Too much Pete Steele, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a go-to. But, I mean, the thing is this, man. Like,
about to get typo-pregative.
just know that dudes, majority of the time, are trying to fuck.
Yeah.
And if there's some weak, ugly dude you're not attracted to, they're trying to fuck you.
Oh, like really more than anything else. That's what you got to watch out for. See, now the thing, here's some honest talk about from a married man. I mean, I've been in several relationships. When you're dating somebody, especially when it's a new relationship, your partner already has an established life.
Yeah.
Right? They've got a set amount of friends that they spend time with, and so do you. Now, if you're a regular person, you understand that sometimes people of the opposite sex are strictly platonic friends.
Yeah.
If you're this type of person, you can't comprehend that. You think that everything is about fucking the opposite sex. So, what will absolutely destroy a relationship is if you think anytime your partner associates with someone of the opposite sex, one of them is trying to have sex. Now, a lot of times that is the case from the male part, but there's circumstances and there's people, I know that you've had a rough go with that, but sometimes you meet a good lady that has male friends and they're platonic. They're platonic friends. They're not trying to have sex with each other.
Yeah.
And that is great information for people who listen to death metal, I feel like. Because once you actually get into a relationship, you got to understand that sometimes men and women are just friends with each other.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is like I said, man, if it's a dude and he's got like a nub, and he's fucking weird looking, and he likes just one type of food, and he's like some type of fucking OCD guy.
Yes, weird dudes are probably going to try to put it on you. Only. That's what they're after. And it's going to be like that weird, they're going to be overly nice, give you gifts, and try very hard to be what you would consider a good friend and be a great friend, except they're not really your friend. They're just trying to get in it because that's how they know to do it. Yeah. And they don't really know how to do it. It's just that's the approach. So they have an expectation of you because they're just in this weird loop. And this guy is definitely that guy.
I got this
it's
theory.
It's a safety talk, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I got a theory. You know how like sometimes or you'll meet a strange woman and this is, when you're a single dude, like when we were single, we were fucking wild stallions. We fucking, you'd bone a lady and she'd be trying to like, cuddle up to you or whatever. And you're like, fuck that. Or you would leave or you would just sleep, one of the two.
Yeah.
What if for a serial killer, it was like once they boned, they realized they didn't love them. It was just kind of like, oh shit. And then they're like, I gotta kill him. Like, I don't have any connection to this person. Fuck him, kill him.
That's not a bad theory at all. Especially the opportunity would definitely be there.
It's like
a lot of killing for people that have had that fantasy is opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if that's how you get into it, if you're alone with a weaker individual and you've had this idea of murdering somebody, that's an easy way to go about it.
Your mind's all fucked up, but you think it's their fault.
Yeah.
So you just have a hyperextension of not wanting to cuddle them. You just kill them.
Correct. That's not a bad theory at all. Now, I don't think that's what happened with this guy. I think that he was just so locked in his fantasy and figured like, oh, it's just another Western girl. She was not going to have her sex with me. I'm going to have her sex with her. And so his fantasy came true, man, and he couldn't bite through the flesh, which would basically be impossible to do. So he leaves the crime scene. He goes to the store, and he buys a giant knife meant for cutting meat. That gives him the ability to slice through the flesh, and then he tries to eat it raw. This is basically what every cannibal we've talked about does. They try to eat raw flesh. That's super hard to do. And on top of that, dude, he's like taking pictures of shit. Like he's like making cuts of meat and taking pictures. And he's like cooking it, eating it up. He spends 3 days getting as full as he can. And once he gets tired of the charade, like, and he's real proud to talk about, like, he liked the way ass was, and similar to other cannibals, to Albert Fish.
Yeah.
We got to do Albert Fish again because we only did it for our early Facebook days.
Yeah.
And that's the wildest of the wilds.
Oh, yeah.
Fish is the wildest it gets. But he's like cutting off pieces of flesh, eating it as he goes. The ass, the thigh. He discovers like the fatty parts of the body aren't exactly delicious. Just like with an animal, it's fat. It's not going to be a pleasant texture to chew on.
No.
And so he totally mutilates the body. Then he starts to worry about getting rid of the body. And some other weird shit that he did is he went on a cruise. This is dude. So if someone does this, they're a monster for sure. He went on a cruise by himself. Monster.
Oh, yeah.
There should be a list. If anyone takes a fucking cruise, like an all-inclusive Royal Caribbean cruise alone, monster, psychopath, whatever, that is the bridge to serial killing.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
That's
the peak.
I've done a cruise before. I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah, why would you?
I had to have somebody talk shit about the other people with.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. If you go into a cruise alone, if you go into a cruise with someone that's not your partner, you're in some weird shit. But if you're like a kid, like I went on a cruise before with like my friend's family, but I was like 17,
Yeah.
It was like a vacation. Like, oh, they're going to take me because they feel very bad for my life situation. Like,
and then you get on there and you're like, oh, this is a fucking floating Walmart for a week?
Yeah, it's the worst. Fuck cruises, dude. Cruises are shit. Don't get roped into that. But if someone does it alone, it's fucked. But this guy does it, and he's like hanging out with people for the first time because no one likes him. And he ends up like, in cruises, man, they do this weird shit where they like force you to intermingle with people. I assume it's mostly because of space, but they make it seem like they're making social connections. So like if me and you went, right? It's just the two of us. There's no tables for two. It's like a table for 6.
Yeah.
So they would probably take us 2 and then like 2 couples and put all 6 of us at a table. That's why if you're just 2 dudes going on a regular ass cruise, you're fucking up. You know what I'm saying? It's not fun. It's not gonna be fun for me and you to eat with 2 weird fucking couples.
Oh yeah, it will.
Yeah,
we'll make them feel
but
weird.
It's us. Yeah,
they'll definitely. They're like, oh, what time is this going on?
How do we get out of this? Yeah. So then that's really the main move is you get to eat good food like as much as you want. That's like the only perk of a cruise. Anyway, so he's in this forced social situation, sitting at a table with different people. One of the dudes at the table that he really liked, and he says the guy was super nice to him, is a fucking butcher. So he spends a lot of time, which would be a weird conversation. I guess if you're a butcher, you would just be stoked to talk about your job and
That's
shit.
what you like, yeah.
You're just like, oh, yeah, baby, I love to take the meat and I cut it along the grain this way and I take the cut this way. And when I take a cow, I cut the cheeks, I cut the feet, I cut the head, I cut the ding. And this dude is just like learned how to process a body from him. So he harkens back to this guy's talks about butchering and cuts the human body up like a butcher would. And then he starts to worry about how he's going to dispose of the body. He's saying that in July in France, it's the hottest month. So mostly he's worried about the vast amount of meat that would go bad. So he takes the parts that he wants to keep through experience of eating the flesh, puts it in his freezer and refrigerator, and then cuts up the rest as best as he can. He goes and buys 2 giant suitcases, fills the suitcases up with human flesh, and then he's got the idea that he wants to go to this fucking park called Bois de Boulogne, which is a, French fucking park. It's got a big ass lake in it, which, it makes a little sense because you want to put a body, if you don't know enough about murder and shit and how to hide a body, because it's not like the fucking first 48 and forensic files are out at this time. He has no experience, so he wants to just put the body in water and thinks it'll sink and shit like that. So he gets 2 giant suitcases, fills it up with body parts, calls a taxi cab, and it's like 4:30 in the afternoon, so the fucking sun's out and everything. Taxi guy shows up. He has to have the because he's weak. He's weak as fuck. He's got no strength. I mean, dude, like me or you, if we chopped up a woman, like a 150-pound woman, and put her into 2 suitcases, that's 75 pounds per suitcase. We're carrying that no problem.
Yeah,
it ain't shit. We just got 2 fucking suitcases. And he's like made it blood tight. I'm sure he's drained a lot of blood out. It's been cut up over the 3-day time period. And he's also wrapped it up in like vinyl sheets. That's smart. But then he takes it out. The cab driver helps him. The cab driver makes a joke like everyone does. Yeah, what do you got in there, bodies? He's like, oh, it's a nobody, oh. It's nobody. It's furniture. Yeah, it's a lot of furniture. Yes.
But if you're French, well, how do you speak French if you're Japanese? That's the dialect I want to hear.
Well, man, he's working on his PhD in language, my guy, so he's doing it up. And so he gets in the taxi cab with the guy. He goes to the park. By the time he gets to the park, it's like 5:30 p.m., so the sun's still out. So there's people there sunbathing, and it's France, so they've got their knockers out and shit like that, dude. And there he says everyone's looking at him weird because he's like this goofy-looking Japanese guy in a French park where everyone's like nude sunbathing, and he's got 2 giant suitcases in the park. He's like dragging it around. So he gets to a place where he thinks he's like alone and won't be noticed, and tries to shove the suitcases into the water by pushing them down a hill. And they like slide down a hill and don't go in the water. And a French guy is there, and he sees the bags, and he's like, asks the dude, like, oh, what are you doing? Are these your bags? And he's like, these are not my bags, oh. Oh, these are not your bag. Let me look at the contents. Opens the bag, sees a goddamn body, and starts yelling, murderer, murderer. And then, someone calls the fucking cops. He tries to bail by just zipping the suitcase back up and taking off, and then the cops find him with the body, go back to his apartment, search, find the pictures, find the fucking meat. I mean, he's fucked. He's caught. Red hand.
If it would have been like early or later times, I mean, you would have that big fat fucking French guy with the cello in the park doing fucking Slayer tunes.
Oh, yeah, that guy's cool, man.
That guy is ripping, man. See, I mean, your shit's not heavy enough.
That's the only
just
French
floats.
person I like.
Your body floats, and then that guy plays some cello, heavy-ass cello.
Heavy cello.
Those bodies will float down to the bottom.
Right.
Bottom feeding ass fish will just take them away.
Yeah.
Red Lobster will serve it to people.
Yeah, dude. You got to think about, like, lobsters just eat what's in the bottom of water.
Yeah.
So when you're eating lobster, you got to be eating
When it comes to butt cheeks, you take the quarter pounder.
Then they get them cheeks.
And then they get the flounder.
So what's ridiculous, man, and this is another shining example of where if you have an indefinite amount of money, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. You're never getting in trouble for anything if you're super rich. He goes on trial. His dad gets him one of the best lawyers that money can buy. He sits in holding for 2 years pre-trial, all the while the lawyer's having them do mental evaluations and basically trying to prove the case of insanity before it goes to trial, and it is. He's innocent by reason of insanity. He's unfit to stand trial. Legally insane. which that would have never worked in America.
No.
Never, because we talk about this all the time. If you kill somebody, even and he may be insane. I mean, the guy's fucking nuts. Like, he's out there. And killers are. Like, something's going on. But what always gets you is the remorse you feel when you try to cover up a crime. Even if it's not remorse, but you know, like, okay, I can get in trouble for this, so I have to cover it up. Once that engages, dude, the insanity plea's all the way over with. Because if you were what is considered insane, you wouldn't have the wherewithal to have any type of plot to cover the crime. Even though his cover-up was fucking batshit stupid anyway, it doesn't matter because he made an attempt to cover the crime up.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that alerts a judge, a jury, whatever your legal country status is, that alerts the legal process that you know that that's wrong. And you at least know it's wrong by way of knowing that you can get in trouble for it. So when that happens in France, the judge, I'm guessing because the lawyer is so good, I bet they probably greased the wheels. You know what I'm saying? I bet his dad threw some cash at it. He gets let go. He's all the way loose. Now, while he's been in jail for the 2 years, Japanese author Enkino Yamota visits Sagawa and helps him publish the account of his killing with a book titled Into the Fog. And he's a celebrity. You know, like, the book is doing well in Japan. The crime is out worldwide because, again, we're talking about the late 70s, early 80s era. News travels like wildfire. We talked about satanic panic shit. Any type of crazy crime, it's easy fodder for a non-internet world. Yeah. Everyone's talking about it. So the guy is like a macabre celebrity. You know, anyone that is interested in freaky shit, sick horror freaks, they want to talk to the guy that fucking ate a human. You know, it's a modern day cannibal that is in natural society. Like, regular life, Japanese dude, PhD student, ate a human. We got to find out what's up with that shit. So he's basically a celebrity. So France is like, man, fuck this guy. We can't have him in our country. And they deport him back to Japan. And again, he was declared legally insane. So he's absolved of the crime, but that means he has to be released by Japan regulation into a mental hospital. So he goes to Mazazawa Hospital in Japan. Psychologists found him to be sane, but they determined that all of his actions, not just the crime, are motivated by sexual perversions. And he says himself, even to this day, that he can overcome his desire to eat humans and his fantasies of killing and eating flesh by masturbating. But he says now, present day, he's impotent.
Yeah.
He can't jerk off. He can't get boners.
What they don't tell you about the mental institutions of Japan is how they rehabilitate them is they teach them how to be hibachi chefs.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Meko onion volcano. That is a crazy fucking person's invention, dude. Oh, take a onion. Cut. Look at ring. Big ring to small ring. Take backwards. Make a volcano. Take a oil. Put the oil in. Light the oil on fire. Onion contain the fire.
And then they crack the egg, and it's like, there's Godzilla.
Dude,
yeah, it's Godzilla.
Dude, I fucking hate hibachi shit.
Yeah.
That is the worst experience you can ever have as a person. Table side anything is bullshit.
But I mean, just
live guacamole, hibachi chefs, bananas Foster. Never. If you eat with me, if we ever go out to eat, anyone listening to this, and you order a tableside preparation dish, I'm out. I'm fucking leaving. I'm gone, dude. I will never sit through that. If it's your fucking birthday and you order cake and we're on separate tickets, dude, I'm done, son. I will not be around for anybody doing anything that draws attention to our table and forces a fucking waiter or waitress to go through the hell of public humiliation to make a $5 tip from you. Fuck that. I'm leaving. And I won't do business with a place.
I think hibachi chefs, man, what it is, man, it just you know Booger from fucking Nerds, the movie?
yeah.
You know, the first thing he says to the nerd Asian dude is like, you know karate? He's like, no. And he just like kicks his ass.
yeah.
But it's the same thing, man. It just reinforces that. It's like, man, like you come over to America, you're not really, like you're this dude, you're frail, whatever. but you can cook the fuck out of this fried rice and you can do the onion volcano. They're automatically like, well, he can do that with food. He can do that to me with karate, and I am not fucking around with this guy.
Yeah, so it's just a hardship. Man, I got a funny story. I mean, we're getting towards the end, but a great chef I know named Matt Clark. Shout out to Matt Clark. He really wanted to be a hibachi chef. I have no idea why. He wanted to be a hibachi chef, so he applied at every single restaurant to try to learn, and they were like, absolutely not. No white hibachi chefs. And they shut his ass out.
Because he doesn't know fucking karate.
Yeah, you're right about that. He sure the fuck does.
They're like, oh, yeah, we knew who Van Damme is. Are you trying to be that motherfucker? You ain't coming in here.
Yeah, Van Damme, I bet, would be a cool hibachi chef.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
What if he was cooking, like, crepes and shit? Like,
hey, I started watching Kickboxer, like, whatever. Vengeance is the name of it. What, 6? Kickboxer. Yeah, I haven't finished it yet. But it's like, man, I mean, you know, he's been in Cyborg. It's pretty cool. Right. You know, there's a sample from a Mortician song that's in a Cyborg.
Oh, yeah.
From Cyborg, you know, so it's, you know, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
So you're like, hey, man, this guy's like Van Damme. He's not.
No.
He's French.
Yes. He's Belgian.
Same shit.
Yeah, it's close. Like, Belgians are hard French. Like, there's not a single hard French person in the entire universe ever. And I don't think Van Damme's hard, but there's hard Belgians. You know what I'm saying?
The Illuminati.
But, like, French... Yeah. French are weak, man. Hey, I'm sorry if you're French, but we're just gonna face some fucking facts here, dude. You bread-fueled fucks.
Oh fuck, man.
So yeah, and he's in the hospital. And the thing with the French judicial system is once they dropped all the charges, they totally seal the files. So Japan can't even look and find out the details of what happened. So he's free. Man, he checks himself out August 12th of 1986. So he was kind of like in legal litigation for a few years, but then he gets out. And unfortunately, a broad stroke of capitalism and the way the world works is that to start with, he's making a lot of money, man. He's like well educated, so he's going around and he's speaking at colleges. And fucking horny freaks are bringing him in all over the place to listen to his story and fucking jack off to it when they get home later. And then, you know, he's a writer. He was working on a PhD in language and literature. So he starts writing books. He starred in some weird erotic art film that translates to Unfaithful Wife, Shameful Torture. And in the movie, he plays a sadomasochistic voyeur, where basically they almost like point-to-point reenact his crime, but it's on some weird, like, David Lynch shit, you know, like it's a real fucking freaky. The clips that I saw of it were like, what the fuck?
The Little Red Riding Hood. It's just those
goofy ass films where you're like, God damn it, why would you make this? Like a Holy Mountain, dude. Here's something that I like when people tell me that Holy Mountain's a good movie.
I like that movie.
No, you don't. You do not like that movie. You can just write them off. It's like, oh yeah, man, like I get it. Like, oh yeah, it's got shit and farts and fucking
that's
weird
why I like
shit.
It.
Yeah, like that's funny, but it's not a good movie. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, we fell into a bunch of acid and we're really gonna push the fucking boundaries of art with this. It's not good. There's nothing good about it. There's no like.
If
greater
you like
point.
farts and fucking.
Yeah, that's funny. That part is hilarious.
I'm just a hopeful person that I can change my shit into gold, man. Why can I do that?
It's a horrible movie, dude.
That's science, man. Bill Nye knows.
And all those movies like that, like just like extreme over the top fucking art. It just like sucks, dude. And it's that type of shit that he's into. And he writes like 21 books himself, a lot of them about his crime. He writes about different crimes. Like he gets approached by a very legit company to write books on a different serial killer, the Kobe child murders, which we'll look into sometime because when I clicked on that link, I was blown the fuck away. And he makes like a weird manga that he draws himself. And he's not great at art, but it's like, you know, it's like an erotic
Lolita, that's
graphic novel, Lolita manga. Well, no. The company that put it out makes Lolita manga.
Okay. So
like Lolita is a book about an old man falling in love with a 12-year-old, like a rich old man. Oh, it's fucked, dude. And it's like this whole book about how this guy is obsessing with a kid, and it basically normalizes pedophilia. Oh man, dude, the restaurant I work at, there was a fucking guy that came in like 3 days in a row, an old dude, like openly reading Lolita. And I hope I'm not. This allegedly happened. Restaurant. He would order.
Yeah, this happened when you worked at Western Sizzling.
Yeah, when I was making gelato at Western Sizzling, and he would order the Reese's Pieces kind like 3 days in a row. And they were telling me about it, and like I just happened to be out there one time when he ordered it, and I served it to him. And he's like 60-something-year-old man. I mean, and mind you, he's like openly reading Lolita, which is fucked up.
Yeah,
super fucked up. And so I start to serve it to him, and he goes, "Make sure there's chunks in there. I like it when there's chunks. Every day there's been chunks." And I'm like, "Well, I made it. There's chunks all the way throughout." He's like, "No, make sure you get one of those." I'm like, "Hey, man, you're like 60 years old. Don't come in here buying ice cream with chunks of candy and tell me how to give it to you. That's weird." And you know what else is weird? Reading Lolita in public. And he just like fucking hangs his head, you know? He's like, "Oh shit, someone's onto me. This fucking giant monster's onto me." And he fucking gets it to go and gets out of there. And I haven't seen him since, so that's a little bit good for the community.
Maybe he went back and, you know, offed him.
Yeah, maybe he killed himself. He should. I hope he did, man, because that's bad. You know how we feel about pedophiles after last week's episode. But yeah, he wasn't doing pedophile shit. Like, I would rather him eat people than be a pedophile. But the Lolita thing in that documentary is that the company makes Lolita manga, and Lolita basically means pedophile manga, which is fucked. But they put out his book about cannibalism. So he basically just breaks his crime down with shitty, like, Prismacolor colored pencil anime drawings in this book that he wrote, puts it out. That's what he makes most of his money from. They start... And then, you know, he's embarrassed because, like, he's not making a ton of money off of this shit. And he starts to have to do weirder and weirder shit because only weird people are into him. And so he starts making these porns. And some super depressing shit is that they have him set up to make this porn. And the whole premise of it is that they get this porn star to have sex with him. But they're not going to tell her that he's this fucking infamous cannibal. They just tell her that he's like an author and a speaker and he's well educated. He's like a literary professor and shit. And he actually almost got a job as a professor at this French university because he mailed in his resume for this job opening. And the hiring manager of the college was so fucking impressed that this guy would use his actual name and not try to be a fake person coming back to France. And he wanted to hire him. And the board was like, "Dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I can't bring this fucking psychopath over here."
Oh my god.
And so anyway, he starts making this porn with this porn star, and the idea for like the porn is that they're stuck in an apartment. They can't leave. There's like some shit going on outside, and so they have sex. And after they have sex the first time, they fucking tell this girl, like, I mean, they had already boned, you know what I'm saying? Like, they copulated. They physically had sex. They tell her, like, "Hey, this is that cannibal," and she is blown the fuck away, as you would be.
Yeah.
If you find out.
Oh no, he fucking straight up breaks out fucking.
Well, yeah, he like eases her into it. You know, he's like telling.
Well, you know, he had taken pictures of all.
Oh
this
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like he busts them out and shows them.
Right.
To her.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that the book that he wrote, that Into the Fog book? Like the back of it has got detailed photographs. Like he had taken a bunch of photos of the body and
It's
like
a crime
how he
scene
was cutting it up.
Yeah.
And the meat that he had saved from it and how he cooked it and how he prepared it. And then the police had taken crime scene photos and they compiled all those together. So it's fucked pictures. And he's like, has her looking through it. So she finds out and she's just blown away. But what's super weird about that, which probably says a lot about Japan too, is like they don't have sex anymore, even though she's a porn star and she got paid to have sex with that guy. But they like have an actual friendship beyond that.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Well, what's weird is like he had fucked her beforehand, and then like the director's like, "You have to have sex 3 times." That's like one of the things.
Yes,
in
right.
The contract.
So she had to do it 2 more times.
She had to do it 2 more
God
times.
damn it.
And then like then you start thinking like the whole time is like I'm having sex with this dude, and he's thinking about fucking eating me.
Yeah. Yeah. So the funny justice for this guy, right, is so we were talking about the whole time how he had a rich family, rich parents. He stole so much money from his dad that he kind of depleted his dad's like retirement fund, which would have been passed on to him to after he got back to Japan. He was doing this shit where he had like a connection to bring German women over to him. And it was the same shit. Like he wasn't bringing over, like he could have easily brought over a prostitute, you know, but he was just bringing regular German women and taking them on lavish vacations, not just in Japan, but like all the way around the world. And spending money on everything and having no sexual connection with him, no intimate connection with him, just thinking that he's friend zoned the entire time. And he depletes his dad's entire funds, takes out a credit card in his dad's name, runs up a giant bill for his dad. Well, his fucking dad passes away and he's got all this debt now. So he has to spend all the money that he's made off of this shit to pay off his dad's debt. So he ends up living in public housing, which is where he still lives to this day. And to totally prove what a soft this guy is all the way around, how weak he is, and how, being weak doesn't have anything to do with homosexuality. But again, I think a lot of his desire for like a larger, I think it's twofold. One, his desire to take over someone's characteristics by eating their flesh. Two, suppressed homosexuality. He likes a large, muscular woman. There's just a perfect mix of this guy to be the type of weird that he is, and it just all has to do with how weak and feeble he is. I think he is homosexual for sure, but he's so disgraced by everything. I mean, he's disgraced in public. Everyone knows who he is. He's disgraced by his family because he ruined his dad's finances. He made his parents pay for all this legal help, made them live with the shame of him being this person. Like, all of these things of their own, even in modern day Japan, he should have killed himself. Like, that's how Japanese culture works. We frame that whole thing for you. If you dishonor anyone, yourself, your family, your culture, your country, your fucking place of business, you're supposed to kill yourself.
Yep.
And he won't do it. And he lives in like a public assistance housing building. And he still writes and does like weird shit from time to time, just trying to scrape by. But he's basically just living to die. You know, he's going to just pass away in his apartment. But his main driving goal right now, like I said, he's impotent. So he's scared that he could eat somebody again. But he doesn't, he's got it's Japan. He can't get a weapon. Like, he's not going to be able to.
He's old,
feeble, weak. Probably can't physically do it. But he just wants a woman. But he said he would let a male do it, fucking eat him. Like, he wants to be eaten alive, like we talked about in our cannibal episode, that dude from Germany who had the other nurse, like, come and fucking cut him up and eat him. He wants that more than anything. He wants to die by way of being consumed.
Yeah.
Whatever. Someone go give it to him.
Well.
Like we found out, that one in Germany we talked about in our modern cannibalism episode, the dude ended up, like... After we did that episode, I saw an article that came up that recently they repealed that guy's charges and he's back in jail for life. So, no one's going to eat him because it's a huge risk.
Yeah.
So, fuck that guy. Super creep, but interesting story. Cannibalism, to me, is interesting. Of course, Death Metal Dicks, we take a crime, we compare it to a song. We used to have Buddy read the lyrics on the podcast episode. For this one, we chose Carcass.
Feast on dismembered carnage.
And we played it at the beginning, at the end of the song. It's about cannibalism. Now, Patreon, if you sign up for any tier, even $1, you can get our bonus episodes. In the bonus episodes, Buddy reads the lyrics of songs again. So if that's what you liked, be a patron. Hear Buddy stumble and bumble drunkenly through reading some complicated lyrics for Carcass. Of course, Carcass is one of the biggest death metal bands of all time. Great lyrics. That band turned into dog shit, just like this guy's life. So that's it. Another killer cannibal episode of Death Metal Dicks. Thanks for fucking hanging out with us and talking about dog sex.
Pray to the Lord above.
Pray to the Lord below.
Let him fuck your thighs real slow and let him call you bro.
If you do, he will screw all the gaps between your tooths. When he nuts, you'll get cut and end up with 2 fucking butts. That's it, guys. We'll see you next week on Death Metal Dicks.